Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. How are we all doing? Let me just check the game volume. And let me make sure we can hear Simon when he comes in. How we doing? One and all, another Sunday afternoon with SOP. It's the British Motorsport GT Championship, season number 3, round number 2, and we are at Silverstone. We are straight into qualifying. Anyone that knows knows ACC racing, you know what's going on, so you know why we're running slightly late. A couple of extra precautions just to make sure the unnameable does not strike. Hasn't
Jinxed.
got all that hard work and good energy thrown straight out the window by the Welsh wizard himself. No, we don't have the snooker legend. It's the other one. It's it is Mr. Simon Baggis. So keen to get in the commentary box that he's jumping straight in. So let's say hello to Mr. Simon Baggis. It's been a fun start to the series. Round 1, multi-class racing around Oulton Park. We could probably just leave that sentence there. Round number 2 though, Silverstone. A lot more room around this track. Good number of cars, good mix of cars. This one should be an absolute corker, Simon.
It should be a cracker. You know, it's dubbed the blue ribbon event of the British GT Championship because it's their one and only, or I say one and only, it's their longest race of the season, 3 hours long. I mean, we've bent the rules a little bit by making Spa a 3-hour race as well rather than a 2-hour race, just for our own enjoyment. But yeah, the blue ribbon event of the season is here. It's Silverstone. It's SOP Motorsport. Lots of action to be had up and down the field in both classes, and don't forget we've got the success penalties to be applied to the podium finishers in each class from the previous round as well, just to spice things up even more.
Yes, indeed, as Simon said, there is success ballast. That's right, if you do well, we'll punish you. So remind me again. It's not
Yes,
weight with this
so
one. What is that? Yeah, explain this one to me, actually, please, Simon.
yeah, so it's not weighted ballast for your successes. It's time
That's the other
penalties to
series.
be served in the pit stop window. So after lap 1 is complete, you will see success penalties handed out to the top 3 from each class from the previous round. And if you were victorious, you will be handed 20 seconds as a success penalty to be served in the pit stop. If you finished runner-up, you will have 15 seconds, and if you were the final podium finisher, you have 10 seconds added into your first pit stop time. That's the same across every single round, regardless if it's a 90-minute race, a 2-hour race, or a 3-hour race. So granted, the shorter the race, the harder it's going to be for them to catch back up. But yeah, we're here at the longest race of the season, 3 hours. We'll see how much an extra 20, 15 and 10 seconds affects what were the fastest teams at round number 1.
Indeed, we will. We have... not sure. Siri, thanks, Siri. Siri'sland. Give me chuck me a clue on how to pronounce that properly in the chat, and that way I won't butcher your handle there for you, bud. But yeah, cheering on the simulation. So yeah, Matthias Kudzinski high on his list. Look at how close these two are, though. 65 hundredths of a second separating the front row, and they've got a handsome 3/10 back to row number 2. We find Terence Keenan in a Ginetta for Eclipse Racing Team. The F1 memes team, they're certainly not memeing today. They've got... who's it? Oh, it's Kildashev. Kildashev's in the car for them. In the GT4. He's in 4th place. Eli Poe for Simulation in 5th. We've got Matt Camelio there. In 6th, Rafael Kanika. In 7th, Santon in for Black Snow. Jel Verstretten, sorry, for the B Sim Racing McLaren in 9th. In fact, Josh Barrett then for the GT Marquee team pops himself inside the top 10 at the expense of Dries Verhulst, he's in 11th. Charlie Snedden in 12th. Newman and Chris Severt in the SOP. Genetics 14th. At the minute, Kaczynski's still out on track. We are going to see a pretty big time difference between what the GT4s and the GT3s can do around here. Obviously, Silverstone, very much a track all about the straights. Simon, you did a bit of Formula 1 racing. Is it true? Or actually, yeah, so if you're doing a lap around here in a Formula 1 car, is it not something crazy like you only use the brakes twice? Or is that something I'm getting? Is there not something to do with the new cars, the aerodynamic, the way they can just lift through some of the corners?
I have no clue, to be honest. The last time I picked up a Formula 1 game was probably 5 or 6 years ago.
Right, okay. So it's been a while.
Well, yeah, it's been a while. I'm actually just riding on board with Chris Levert, actually, and he's invalidated this lap as well. So the 888 machine, they're not going to be set in a single qualifying lap in the 15 minutes that they had.
Wow. And
unless my delta's wrong. It showed me that the time was red, which means validated.
It's showing me that he's 1.7 seconds up on a time of 2 minute 11.4. So
yeah, he's on a pole position time, but it's showing me as red. Maybe it's not. He's 2 seconds up now, so he would be taking pole position if he crosses the line and it's not invalid.
yeah, let's keep an eye then and see. He is coming out the last corner now, or it's the last corner, and he's coming into the pit. So an invalid lap, but it's safe to say he is definitely one of the favourites.
Would have been pole position.
Yeah. So that is going to be a big comeback. This is GT3s coming out on track, and there's confirmation of the GT4 qualifying. And would you look at that? It is Santanen in 9th position, and sets a purple sector number 3. So the BMW is quick in the backfield, that's for sure. 2 minute 10.127 for Kaczynski and Kazelia up in the front row there with the Porsche. 2/10 did eventually separate them from Verstappen. So very close to the Ginetta, and it's a Ginetta in third as well with Keenan and Zakdal. Kildashev piloted a purple sector and a row number 2 with 4th place. Eli Poe in 5th, Matt Camelio in 6th. Kanika is going to start on row number 4, in 7th, row number 4, side by side with the aforementioned Santanen. Verstappen is in row number 5 in 10th place. Verhulst in 11th, Seddon and Newman, 12th and 13th, and Chris Sever and Danny Baisden, no qualifying time. So yeah, one of the race favourites starting from the back. The back of the class and the back of the field as well. The GT3s though, they are out and running. There is Chalukin, the GT3 half of the F1 Memes team. That's a simulation BMW. That is an F1 Memes McLaren. Martin Lorenk's out as well. Connection Lost Racing. We've got Mark Bunyan. SOP leading the way. There's Ben Langford in the Wild Things Racing Aston Martin.
And we do have a new entry for this round as well. I'm not sure if you've spotted them on the grid yet, John. Mr. Luca Tavanari is back with us.
Luca Tavanari. And
after I said about no rookie monsters in our series to start the year, I think they listened and they've signed up for the British GT. So,
I did see, because I did see a rookie monsters.
Sorry, yes, there is one in GT4 class.
Yes, there was one in GT4s, yeah. Yes. Newman, that's it, of course. So that'll be, awesome. Getting back on a Wednesday night as well. Luca. Let's have a look. Hope everyone's with us. Busey in the chat. Jan Barth is in there as well. GT Charity. Carbon. That SOP Janetta livery is... You are not kidding. It really
What happened,
is.
Danny? Have you decided not to set a lap on purpose, or is that a mistake as to why you're starting last in GT4s?
Last to first challenge. It's just showing off, really.
With a success penalty to be applied as well.
Wow.
Just for good measure.
Just for good measure, just to make sure. Are they setting flying laps yet?
They should be on their first flying laps now, yeah. Leon Seeley leading the way.
With a 1:57.2. That's a good start there for the Aston.
I think it could be between Seeley and Thomas Morant for pole position.
Okay. The SOP manager throwing his hat in the SOP ring early doors. Good to see. Oh, she'll look in. The F1 memes team should be well accustomed to this track, that's for sure. John Gray. Oh, look, actually, you know what I can do? I can do shout-outs now because the bots are working again, Simon. Just have a look, Bunyan. So, and you reckon Morant is going to be one to watch?
Morant may be one to watch, yes.
GPX Racing? Not representing SOP? What's going on there?
I don't know why he hasn't got the SOP livery on. It looks like he joined in-game there.
Oh, yeah.
Slap on the wrist for him after the race.
Indeed. It does say rebellion on the side as well.
Yeah.
Just making sure you know. There is...
Oh, there we go. The livery's working this time.
No, that's Mark Bunyan, I think. Yes, it is.
No, Wild Things Racing.
Oh, Wild Things Racing. Yes. Now, here's the thing. I did wonder if that Awesome Racing updater thing was actually conflicting with some of the ones. But, yeah, apparently not, because that is working. So there we go. Excellent. But yeah, that's Mark Bunyan in the SOP. Still Leon Seeley up on the front. It is Hugh Wilspin in the Porsche in second, 3/10 behind. Chulukin, Larenk and Langford, sorry, as we were just mentioning. Rounding out the top 5. 1.2 seconds back, Mustafa Ramsbar in the Iran racing team. It is a pretty cool livery again. Liveries, they can be such a pain in the neck to get them all working and loaded and everything, but yeah, some of the ones that you see, definitely worth the extra effort. There's Sven Corving. Now, I was worried that his livery didn't work, but here it has. That's in the game anyway, so it's almost not. Go through yet the cat on the front. It has worked. Excellent. He's out in 15th at the moment. Oliver Zubik for the Vivid Global Racing team. Hopefully both of their liveries are working as well. Osterschars for Simulation. We'll have their fans in the chat, no doubt, as well. Busey, did I say hello? I'm very good. Simon is on the road to recovery. I also am on the road to recovery, and we've got 34 cars around Silverstone in a multi-class with SOP. What more could you possibly ask for? Go on, Mark says SOP's Rafa in the chat as well. Good afternoon. How are you doodly doing? Remember as well, as you can see up in the top left, top right, the top right of your screen, we do have Pitwall. If you're looking for telemetry, exclamation mark Pitwall in the chat, you can get that. And if you want to get involved in the racing, we've got all the social medias and stuff, but the most important thing to do, get on to Discord and get yourself signed up. ACC on PC and Race Room as well now on Monday and Tuesday nights, WTCRs and F4s. Haven't seen many rookie monsters in the Race Room races yet, Simon. Now, I don't want to say they've they're running scared from the mighty Double O Raven and F4s, but I mean, what more could we possibly take from the fact that there isn't any there?
Say that again, sorry, John.
I was poking the bear. I was poking the bear. I was just saying, I was noting that there isn't any rookie monsters in the race room events.
There isn't, is there?
And I was implying they were running scared from the mighty Raven and the open wheel F4s. Because nobody has race room. You see, it's free. Yeah, it's free. Jump in. Martin Larenc, Simon. He obviously lost connection to the meeting you had with the team that said, right, Leon and Thomas, you two can have pole position, because he's guided his BMW to a quarter of a tenth of a second ahead of Mr. Seeley, Martin Larenc, in the BMW. So going absolutely great guns there. No surprise, look at Tavernari. I mean, is the Porsche even rated to... Oh, well, actually, yeah, the Porsche must be rated to do well here. We've got 3rd, 4th, 5th. And 6th, but all those drivers are alien level, so it doesn't actually say much. Yeah, but Larenc on pole at the minute, Tavanari in 2nd, Leon Seeley, Sam Winston in the middle, 4 minutes to go, and we're in for an interesting end, and especially given that Thomas Brandt currently sits in 5th place. So,
yeah, I mean, the Porsches are doing rather well at the minute. I mean, Silverstone is one of those tracks where there are a lot of cars that are quite evenly matched in terms of balance performance. It's one of the better circuits on ACC where lots of cars can be in the mix, as you can see, BMWs, Aston, Porsches, McLarens. I'm sure if there was any Hondas here, they would be right at the front of the grid as well. So there's a lot of manufacturers that do rather well at Silverstone. The top 4 are separated by 1/10, and that's 3 different manufacturers, so it goes to show. I do expect someone to potentially break into the 56s. Not too far off now with 57.2s. Because, I mean, it's the same protagonists as round number 1, so no real surprises at the moment. The number 7, the 324 and the 404, all near the front of the grid. Well, right at the front of the grid, actually, should I say. And they're the 3 teams that have got to serve their success penalties in the first round of pit stops as well. So, yeah, they may be top of the pile in qualifying, they may lead the race away. But after lap number 1, you will see those penalties applied. And then, unless they can bridge those 10, 15 and 20-second gaps in the first 60 minutes, sorry, you will see them drop back down the order and have to fight their way back up through the grid for the remaining 2 hours, or whenever they do decide to come to the pits.
yeah, and during the pit stops, the only mandatory requirement is that there is one driver swap. There's 2 driver teams, and both drivers must take part in the race. But other than that, although given that the shortest race is 90 minutes, you're definitely going to see. Or is there actually, Simon? Let me just check, because we will. I've got a nice shiny graphic from Bailey that we'll have a look at. We've got. Oh, it's 2 hours at Donington, 90 minutes at Snetterton. You're still going to need a bit of a splash and dash. Change of tyres, an hour and a half on on the same set of tyres at Snetterton. Is that something that's possible, do you think?
Yeah, there's no there's no fuel requirements, there's no tyre requirements, there's no stint time, and there's no max driving time. We've literally completely got rid of all the type of mandatory requirements that are applicable in pit stops, and yeah, it's only one driver swap, so you can really throw up a good mix of strategies. For example, here I know that the GT4s can go over 90 minutes on 1 tank of fuel, so if a GT4 can keep their tyres alive, you could expect some GT4 teams to just make 1 stop and that's it for the entire 3 hours. I don't think it will be the fastest way to complete a 3-hour race. I think a 2-stopper will be faster with fresher weather, because as soon as you go over the 60, 65, 70 minute mark of racing with these tyres, they do tend to get rather edgy and scrappy, when they get to the end of their tyre life. So yeah, a GT4 to stretch out tyres to 90 minutes plus, I think they'll be going rather slow at the end of those 90 minutes.
Yeah, more than likely. We're just seeing some changes up at the top there. Chulukin was temporarily top of the pile. Oh, and there goes Shoe Will Spin. And literally sideways. Look how close this is. 1500s behind Seeley, who's done a 57.097. Chulukin within a 10th as well. We've got Linda Gray and we've got Scored Curtis giving us follows as well. Thank you very much, guys. Let me get to those and say thank you. Welcome in to SOP. We're in the closing few seconds of qualifying, and just like the SOP races, the drivers like to leave it right down to the end. And I tell you what, leaving it right down to the end. I saw a driver. Oh, who was it? Yeah, in the GT4. Sorry, just a few. That's what. Who was it? Yes, the SOP car. We expected them to take pole position. Simon mentioned Thomas Morant could be one to watch, and he's done it, Simon, right in the death with a 57.040 to go half a tenth quicker than Seeley and 3/4 of a tenth of a second faster than Stu Wilson. Oh, and Martin Lorick. Martin Larenk is not done either. He's currently fourth. Tavanari is in the pits, 2/10 off the pace. Are we about to see connection lost racing and Martin Larenk throw another cat amongst the pigeons? I tell you what, he has got a good bit of time in his pocket here. The BMW going very well through the final couple of corners here at Silverstone. And I tell you, oh, he's juggling a bit of time. He's kept it between the mayo and the mustard. Oh, and he's got a bit of dirt on his tyres there. Oh, that could cost him. It's gone down from 2 to... He's gone second.
Incredible.
Yes, Simon,
Wow.
if the racing's anything like this, I might not survive. Yeah. So just to this, I'd like to leave everything to my daughter. Just make sure that's straight. Yeah, that's...
Yeah, that's incredible qualifying. Look at that. The top
wow.
5 within a tenth.
And it's Wilspin in the Porsche with the fastest Sector 3.
Oh.
Oh, spicy. 4 drivers within 7200ths of pole position. Right, okay, you know what, sorry, I just need to very quickly take that off. I'm sure most of you know the unspeakable. So I'm just going to do that just now in case that pops up. But it's Thomas Morant with a 57.040. Who will be followed by Martin Larenk with a 157.085. Leon Seeley with a 157.097. 3 drivers in under 1 minute 57.1. Shoe Willspin, 1 minute 57.112. Just incredible times. Timur Chulukin starting in 5th. Tavanari in 6th position there. Let me just... see, yeah, okay, you know what, we can't have that on screen. Perfect. So there we go, you guys can see what I can see. So there we go, yeah, just incredible. And is it, yeah, Shoe Willspin there to take the fastest Sector 3 and, yeah, to find himself in 4th place. Chulukin, Tavanari, Ludeman and Langford there, 5th, 6th, 7th and 8th. Horman got 9th and John Gray rounded out the top 10. We've got Daly and Ranjbar starting 11th and 12th, with Ostracharch and Zhuig for Vivid Global Racing and Simulation Esports respectively. We've got Oliver Zhuig there, as I just mentioned. Sorry, Mark Bunyan, stop moving the screen, you'll be able to read it, okay. Corvig there starting 16th, Ekman and Farner in 17th and 18th position. Driscoll and Baggett got 19th and 20th, and of course... So it's 20 cars in the GT3s and 16 cars in the... sorry. Oh, yeah, no, it will be... Sorry, 15 cars. Potentially 14 as standard and DeWitt. It looks like they've had a couple of unsuccessful rejoins, so I'm not sure they will be joining us. But the hot favourites for the Ginettas starting at the back. The hot favourites for the GT4. Sorry, I still can't go over that qualifying. The hot favourites for the GT4s in a Ginetta. They're starting at the back of the GT4 grid. And the hot favourite for the GT3s is the Scottish commentator, the keel over with a heart attack, trying to keep up with the action. Simon, what do we reckon? I think that's easy money at the bookies right there.
You can deal with that because I'm in the stewarding room for the opening laps. This is going to be insane.
Yeah, it definitely is. I'm going to make sure I have to gulp down as much coffee as I possibly can. Wow, says Racer X for the first time chat. Point 2 separating the top 5. Racer X, welcome to SOP. We do like to do two things, or the drivers, sorry, not we. The drivers, I just talk about it. Two things the drivers here like to do well. Keep it very close in qualifying, and even closer the last 10 minutes of the races. So yeah, getting to the last 10 minutes of the races, there's always plenty of action to jump on board with as well. I'm gonna leave that there just now. Again, just a couple of extra precautions. So we are going to leave the game like this so that there's no unnecessary information leak. But again, Racer X, thank you very much for jumping in. Tony McCoven. I've got no sound at the moment. I'm lurking while still in a video call. Let's give you a little wave by text then. Excellent. Again, if you do want to join in with the racing, yeah, need I say more? Let me just change that to that. Get involved.
30 seconds.
Easiest way to do that. Discord. Excellent. There we go. You can get involved that way. Torres done the job, says Peter Brett. Peter Brett. Honestly, if that isn't one of the greatest qualifying sessions, literally with his last lap he was 5th. He found 4/10 to get himself a 1/4 of a tenth of a second onto pole position. Bonker. Congratulations to you as well, by the way, winning all your races recently too, although you didn't have a great one on Wednesday, if I remember correctly. Right, this server name won't disappear.
He did lead away from pole position.
He did lead away from pole, that's right, but then incident, yeah.
Let's not jinx it again,
yeah. Oh yeah, because he's leading off on pole again in this one. Right, okay, yeah. Right, okay. So he's taking over. Wednesday, what's that? Peter, man, send me the number of your therapist. Right, okay, I think it's safe to put this back on the live screen. There we go. Excellent. I was just going to go over the stand-ins in the break, but I was grabbing other stuff. Yeah, so Discord, jump on there. You can get involved in the racing. And if you want to keep an eye on the telemetry, who's doing what on track, give Pitwall link. Jump on. It is a quite phenomenal app for keeping an eye on your telemetry and stuff. We'll just have a quick jump about the field at the moment. It is, of course, Silverstone 1948. This one came into existence when it looked like something of a Wreckfest, quite frankly. In fact, I think that's what one of the opening courses on Wreckfest is actually based on. So there we go. It's been changed more times than I changed my socks in a week, with mega variations being made. Of course, back in the day, it was 3.6 miles long, but it was pretty much just an X that didn't meet in the middle. These days it's still 3.6 miles long, but it is a much changed variation on the track, which came into existence many years ago, and contrary to popular belief, many years before I was born. I'm genuinely not that old. It's been the home of British Formula 1 for quite some time, and it looks like it will be for some time to come. Why is that? Bear with me while I do that. Let's get some GT4 loving as well. We'll try and keep an eye on all the action. The drivers have already changed between qualifying. There's Alex Phillips out on track, and in fact Danny Baisden enjoying the Ginetta livery. It is a good livery. I like the silver under the pink just ahead of the rookie monsters. It is going to be Sir Thomas of Morant leading the way with the BMW. Following him, Leon Seeley in third place. I tell you what a start this is. Porsche, BMW, Aston Martin, Porsche, McLaren. So the Porsche is making a double appearance. Other than that, all different manufacturers inside. Well, certainly inside the top three, and then the McLaren making that appearance in fifth there. The only car not up inside the top 10 is the SBS Automotive Performance Mercedes. Only one Mercedes in the series, apart from, of course, Eli Poe in the GT4 version. Definitely a travesty to not to have more of the curb munchers. I do give Mercedes drivers a hard time because they are a bit of a cheat car over curbs, let's face it. It's the only reason Simon drove one. He's in the Sheridan office now, so I can say that.
I'm still here.
Oh, you're still there? Yeah, sorry, Simon. We're having some problems with your microphone. It's cracking it.
I did want to say, actually, the top three starting here with the top three across the line at Alton Park. So all the top three at the start of this race will be handed success penalties after lap one. Interesting.
Oh, wow. Yes, indeed. We've got a follow from Commissioner Timon. Comis, thank you very much for the follow. You've joined us right at the start of a 3-hour race. As Simon was saying, there is no mandatory requirements whatsoever in any of the pit stops. It's up to the drivers what to do. They just need to change drivers at least once. There is the green lights, and we are away. And it's Thomas Morant who's got a great start in length. Full side by side, there's Leon Seeley. Instantly loses out on a place to shoe will spin. We've got Tamir Chalukin running wide. There's Luca Tamanari looking to gobble up a position if he can. Oh, the Porsche is bunching up. There's Ben Langford in the Aston Martin and just pulling it onto the apex, double dab of the brakes just to hold the car in position as they've got Hajo Horman for Vivid Global Racing keeping a close eye there. Down towards the GT4s, it is Mateusz Kaczynski who still leads the way. Oh, some of the GT3s at the back there getting a bit racy as well, but it is Kaczynski who's still leading the way. The GT4s having just as clean a start as the GT3s. Although coming into turn number 4, bit of action in the back end there potentially, but they have all made it through nice and neat. Or have they? Yes, they have, sorry. Danny Baisden, yeah, he's going to try and make his way through. Oh, and just as we say that, oh, bit of a concertina effect as we come onto the Hamilton straight. We've had a GT4 ejected then. Thomas Morant still leading the way with Shu Wilspin in third, and it is Martin Larenc in the BMW in fourth place. In third place, Leon Seeley in fourth. Tamir Chalukin in fifth. Tavanari still in sixth with Luderman. And Ben Langford for Wild Things Racing still in seventh position. Behind him you can see the battle between Luderman and Hajo Horman with John Gray and Jordan Daly not too far down the road either. And Jordan Daly got a big gap behind him to what says Mustafa Ranjbar. It is Mustafa Ranjbar, sorry, he's in a different livery. That's why, as you can see, the Vivid Global Racing car of Oliver Zhubeck having a look up the inside, the Osterschars for Simulation Esports as Mark Bunyan watches the whole thing patiently. That is not even the camera we wanted either. They will come out of the last corner for the GT3s anyway, and it is Mark Bunyan there in 15th. He's got a bit of a gap back to Ekman. Up at the front is Thomas Morant leading the way. Oh, through turn 1, that didn't look like the exit he wanted. There's Larenc all over the back of him. They've got a decent gap back to Seeley, who does again have a decent gap back to Will Spin, who's got Chalukin still chasing him down across the line. Oh, that is the success penalty ballasts being handed out. That was a lot trickier to say than you would think, but it is still Christoph Verstappen who is leading the charge, and he is the only one leading the charge as Alex Zagdal's made his way up through a couple of positions at least for ERT. Is he up? Yeah, Eli Poe currently running in fourth place then in the GT4s. Oh, we've got a car run wide there. That's Alex Phillips. Oh no, it's not. It's the car just ahead of Alex Phillips. There's a lot of light flashing, so that's Alex Phillips just making his way up the inside on his way into Chapel. Oh, he's unsettled the car in front. They've all managed to keep that very clean indeed. Danny Baisden getting on the back of this battle, and that is that Charlie? Who is that in the? That is the new team in the McLaren, whose livery we got sorted out today. It's B-Sim Racing. There we go, in the McLaren. He's made his way up. It is Verstappen. He's made his way up a few positions then. Danny Baisden's going to get a couple of positions in there as well. Alex Phillips, so it's all changed in the GT4s. There for Stratton getting his 15 seconds. That is success balance, of course, as we mentioned, from... And it is saying that Charlie said it isn't in the race, but he's got 2 entries on the telemetry. Excellent. This is Danny Baisden looking to make his way up through the field. Started at the back of the GT4s. Already up 4 positions. In fact, potentially make that 5. There is Baggett as well. Felix in the Porsche. We saw him just in front of the GT4s, having a bit of a wiggle on the exit there. Up at the front, let's double check and see what's going on here. It is as you were. As you can see, the success ballast has been applied. It is 20, 10 and 15 seconds to be served in the pit stops, and as Simon said, it was these 3 drivers crossed the line in this order to end the last race. 2 laps in, and this is how they've qualified and started race number 2. So they are definitely leading the field comfortably. As Ben Langford on his way to Chapel, just having a look around the outside. A look at Tavanari as he's opened up the corner, carrying a lot of speed through there in the Aston Martin, really applying the pressure to the Porsche driver. They come at the chicane where we saw the GT4s have themselves a bit of coming together. No such collisions for the GT3s so far, as Gray and Daly chasing their way through. That is... Oh yeah, so that is Daly ahead. Ransbar's dropped down the position actually, and it is Daly trying to get his way past John Gray. The McLaren Race Ventura driver. Oops. And I've knocked that over. Matt Bunyan as well. Looking very quick through the Chapel complex. Baggett looking very quick. There is overtaken and battles right through the field here. Horman, 2-3 laps in, has currently got the purple lap. That'll obviously, or well, you would think that's going to change that. Oh, and is that a mistake by the Porsche? What's going on here? The BMW's boxed himself out. He's on the outside. A little bit of contact with the Aston Martin. As Leon Seeley that finds himself up into 2nd position. Could Hugh Wilspin find himself with a free podium spot here as well? We will go back and watch another replay of that and see if we can spot what happens. We can't leave it for more than a minute though. Into turn number 1. Huzzle look up the inside. Oh, again avoids that contact, but it is Seeley that's up into 2nd position. He's going to be leading the way through here. Let's jump on board and see what happens. Also, McLaren in the background lost. That is Tamir Chalukin. He come back on. Got himself involved with Ben Langford and Luca Tavanari, so there's been plenty happening. Let's find out what happened up at the front though. You can see Leon Seeley, a gap down the road. It's safe to say the BMW has a look up the round the outside. I'm looking at totally the wrong corner. Oh, it goes for the big cutback. The Porsche indeed does run a bit deep, absolutely invites the look, and the BMW has that look. Oh, and he lost, okay, so he lost the back of the car and made contact with that Aston Martin, and that is how that position changed hands. So Morant very nearly lost the lead of the race there, but the BMW, his offence on Morant was cut off by Leon Seeley getting that overtake. That is always the problem when you're racing this close. You could go for an overtake and all you end up doing is boxing yourself out. So it is Seeley then in that 2nd position. Morant still up in 1st. Larenc now looking to get back up on that podium position. And Hugh Wilspin now finds himself in 4th place. I mentioned Daly and Gray a moment ago, and Daly definitely applying some pressure to the Aston Martin ahead of him. Down in the GT4s, Alex Phillips is getting himself close to Verstappen, just ahead. They do have Dries Verhulst. I'm going to struggle with that one. And in fact, it was, there we go, Mika Santonen. Ooh, looking for black snow. He's actually watching that off his rear spoiler. So that is Newman, and that's not Basden. Basden's ended up back down at the back of the grid. What's happened there?
We're back, John. We're back. Yeah, I actually checked that replay to see what happened.
I missed it.
Basden was trying to work his way through the field. There was a four-car battle coming out the final corner, and he just tried to go up the inside of another car, and he actually tagged the rear of the car that had sped him off, and the car that he had contact with just carried on his merry little way. So yeah, sort of self-inflicted driver error there. And
Right,
that's why they're
okay.
at the rear of the field.
So no quality time, started at the rear of the field, and they've very quickly found their way back down there. So certainly, and yeah, it's no secret, like the GT4 field is pretty strong. But yeah, Sever and Basden, they were definitely fancy to do well around here in that Jeanette, it's safe to say, Simon.
They were. I mean, Chris Sabat was on pole position until he invalidated his lap. They were working their way nicely up through the field as well. I mean, it's hard to see the Triple Eight machine making any headway at all now because they're at the rear of the field, 3 seconds off the next GT4 car, and they've got a 15-second success penalty from round 1 to be applied in their pit stop. We never say never, but 2 hours and 50 minutes, basically you started last and you're still last. There's a long way to go, but there's a lot of time to make up as well.
It really is. It really is. We've got Mr. Twister in the chat. Good evening. We've got Moorman MSL. I hope I'm getting that even correct. Moerman, because it does look like Moe Champagne, kind of. Thank you for the follow. Barbie Gamer. How we doing? Good evening. It says evening, evening to myself and to your good self as well, Simon. That's from Barbie Gamer. And we've got Jamesy Dude saying hello in the chat as well. Team FWR for the win. They were racing Wednesday night as well, actually. I remember them racing here last week. We are watching the drivers up the front. Oh, Leon Seeley puts the Aston Martin round the outside. Is he going to make the stick through the chicane? Takes the inside line. That is an absolutely stunning, and it looks like Martin Larenc could. Oh, he almost pulled the same move that Leon Seeley pulled, and Leon Seeley has just taken the lead of the race. Let's jump back and see. Oh, and it was a bit of a wiggle there by the Porsche. I'm not sure whether he thought he was going to have a bit of contact there, but certainly into Stone, down into Vale. Seeley planted the car absolutely beautifully. Snakes it all the way through. The BMW, as I say, Martin Larenc, his eyes must have lit up. He thought he was getting a similar move. Not quite, though. He just gets himself out the way to avoid the contact. And Simon, fair play to you. You did say that Morant and Seeley would be pretty decent protagonists in qualifying and for the race itself. Oh, and that is... Oh, what's going on? Sorry. Ask Simon a question, interrupt straight away. But Thomas Morant, he's just had another big wiggle and almost given that to Larenc, and Larenc is on an absolute charge right now, looking to get his way past.
Like he's stepping for the race lead between the race leaders, this is, yeah. I mean, it's pretty much deja vu. Thomas Morant and Peter Brett took pole position at round 1. Leon Seeley was tucked right behind. He took the lead really early off Thomas Morant, and he was able to stretch a gap. It took him 13 minutes to do the same here at Silverstone to take away the lead from Thomas Morant, and it looks like he's already stretching that gap. It must be something to do with the setup on the Porsche that Morant and Peter Brett are running, because the race setup doesn't seem to translate from their qualifying setup. You know, they're blisteringly fast in qualifying, but they seem to just fall off with their race pace ever so slightly. And yeah, Morant is now having to deal with the pressure from Larenc, and we saw how fast that BMW was in race pace setups at Alton Park, they made up several positions. I think they qualified down to something like 6 or 7. And they were up to 3rd place, trying to pass Morant before the pit stops at the last one. And it's already happening now, 15 minutes into the race. So exciting stuff between the top 3, all with that success penalty to be taken in the pit stops as well. So, I mean, you've got to be thinking Leon Seeley's in the best position because he's leading the way. He's got to take less of a success penalty in the pit stop over Thomas Morant. And if he can pull a 5-second gap to Morant and Marank, he's going to be quids in over the top 3 teams right now. It's just whether those behind fall away as much as they did at round 1, because right now, everybody in the GT3 field is still quite compact on this grid. So yeah, there's nothing to separate all these runners and riders, all still doing battle up and down the field, even between the top 18. I mean, 19th and 20th were a little bit off the pace. But apart from that, from the top to 18, it's still anybody's game.
Yeah, it really is. And yep, that is unmuted, perfect. Yeah, like you say, there is the gaps are not large at all. Driscoll, he has found his way past then, just got the overtake done. I'm not sure if Felix ran himself. Oh yeah, he did. He just ran off track, all 4 wheels onto the grass. That never helps the acceleration. He did move over to try and defend, but not to be, and that is a clean one there for Terry Driscoll, who's himself up. But as up at the front, we've still got Ben Langford. He's up a couple of positions. He's in 5th place. In fact, no, sorry, he's in the same starting spot. Luke Tavanari in 6th as well. Cholukin in the F1 memes team. He threatened pole position in qualifying. He's still threatening to get himself into the top 5, if not the top 3. I mean, let's face it, there's no more than a few tenths separating the drivers, apart from, of course, Leon Seeley. He's got a 1.1 second gap. So his rear view mirror is as clear as it has been since the race started, 7 laps in. He's got the overtake done and he has not looked back. Great running as well by Martin Lorenk in the early stages. Thomas Morant, we've seen him have a couple of little slides. He's dropped some positions. Oh, and in the background, there is some action as Ludeman looks to pop one up the inside as well. Oh, so they're just coming past the GT4. And it is side by side, Ludeman and Cholukin. They're going to go into turn number 1. No Hamilton Verstappen, please. Thank you very much. Expect nothing else. There we go. Of course, we wouldn't see anything behaviour like that in GT3 cars. Ludeman doing well there, almost getting the overtake done on Cholukin. One of the joys of multi-class racing. Everyone's got to deal with it. And it could be down to who deals with the traffic best wins the race, given how close it is up at the front, Simon. That literally could be one of the deciding factors, as we see the race leaders just making their way past more of the GT4s, only 8 laps in.
Yep, that's it. It only took them 16 minutes to catch up to the GT4 pack. And this is where things start to really get spicy, because this can make or break a race for both the GT3 and GT4 counterparts, because you're either going to be held up substantially or you're going to be able to break away. And it's the type of opportunities that they need to seize upon to really get an advantage in what is multi-class racing.
Well, I'll tell you what, Simon, sorry to interrupt again, but just talking the season and taking the advantage, Vivid Global Racing are looking to do a double overtake into, this is the Chapel Complex? Horseman, sorry, all over the back of Mustafa Ransbarn in the background, in his rear view mirror. Oh, Oliver Dewey going side by side with Adam Ostrashars then. And on that exit, as he got the run, he's going to come into the final couple of corners. Oh, the BMW just in front, but he's got the inside line. So more centrifugal force acting upon his car, so less acceleration. The McLaren pops into the slipstream. Has a look up the inside. Oh, did the BMW leave enough room? The McLaren No, gets a big bit of snap oversteer on the exit there, and that's Mark Bunyan who's going to be the main beneficiary there. He's taken himself a position just by taking avoidant action. Oliver Dewig with a snap oversteer. Adam Osterscharz holding on to the position. Hajo Horman still looking to get... Ooh, and that's a GT4 car. That one was a bit high speed for me. Was there enough room left? We'll certainly see. It's obviously... if anyone that doesn't know it, it's absolutely the golden rule in multi-class racing. The GT4 cars are to remain on the racing line. It is 100%, much like in an overtake. If you're overtaking a car, it's your responsibility as the overtaking car to make sure you get past nice and clean. It is the GT4's responsibility to stay on the on the racing line, and the GT4 cars, it is their responsibility. I'm sure Simon will agree. As is, oh, look at Ben Langford into that chicane. He's maybe heard what Leon Seeley done, fancied a bit of that as well. But yeah, just so, just in case anyone is new to multi-class racing, that's how it works. The GT4 cars are slow, so they stay on the racing line, and the GT3s are obliged to find their way safely past, which we will see lots of. And we're seeing Leon Seeley now down in third place. As we're looking through the field, is he already in third at this point? He is. Oh wow! So there we go then, Simon. Just as we're talking about the difficulties of making your way through, and he's actually back up to second position. That's into Stowe. Going right back round the outside. Oh, he didn't make it stick there. So down into Vale. And oh, we saw him get an overtake there. So goodness knows what happened. We're talking about spicy, Simon. We're less than 20 minutes in. The lead has changed hands 5 times now, by my estimation. Coming off the Hamilton straight into Abbey. I think this is where Leon Seeley gets it done to hold on to second. Oh my goodness gracious me. Could that have been any closer, Simon?
Yeah, no, that was quite a hairy moment, definitely, between those two. They both kept it pinned and they both made it through somehow. I mean, this lap traffic, these GT4s are causing carnage for the leaders, as there's literally still nothing to separate the top 3. They're trying to break away from the rest of the pack, 3.5 seconds now. But yeah, there's 2 tenths separating first to third. And the lead has changed hands 3 times already in this race, as Morantz is all slidey in that Porsche. It's just giving a bit of breathing space to Leon Seeley, who's trying to make his way back up through the field. I'll see if I can jump on the replay to see how he actually lost that lead, because he had quite a healthy lead. It was over a second over Lorenc, so I do wonder how that happened. I'll try and find that and report back to you, because I'm just going to check in with the stewards room as well to see if we've had any reports coming. Excellent,
so there we go. Yeah, Simon will check the replay. We'll also have a look and see what the stewards are saying. Can't report a look at Tavanari though. Oh, that was Ben Langford going through, but Tavanari, fastest driver on track at the moment. What's that squeaking noise?
Okay, I can already report that the reason why Leon Seeley lost the lead was in fact trying to lap the GT4 traffic. He was trying to go around the outside of the 230 BMW and just made contact, and that sent Leon into a half spin. It gifted Lorenc first place, it gifted Morant second place, and everyone continued on their merry way after that, as they come across the start-finish straight, and that's where it all happened in the final corner. So yes, they'll resume their battle for the lead. That Aston Martin will have a little bit of damage on board, but it shouldn't affect them too much. We made its way past Morant already again. As yeah, I'll go check the stewards room now, and I'll be back in the show.
Yep, there we go. So Simon's going to jump in the stewards room. A lot of action on track in 23 minutes of racing. It is Lorenc and Seeley that are leading the way. Seeley again having a look. He's not wasting any time trying to get back into the lead, and that is second place. Christopher Streppen in the GT4s. The GT4s have kind of been left by the wayside ever so slightly. I do apologise GT4 fans, but I'm sure you can appreciate we've got a fair bit of action going on right through the field. It is Seeley just coming up to the GT4 race leader on the Hamilton straight, makes his way through, and it's now Ludeman, Daly, wow, Thomas Morant, Langford's through there as well. So all kinds of changes through the order, and in fact I think Mustafa Ransbar's going to have a look as well, because Luca Tavanari's definitely through. Ben Langford is through. Oh, that's Oliver Zewig's just lost the back of the car. Sorry, it's Horman. Horman's lost the back of the car quite spectacularly, coming off the Hamilton straight. It's the Village complex. Why do I keep calling this Chapel? No, but it's through Village. I don't know why to, but yeah, that is all the action all the time. Let's have a look and see. Okay, so he popped himself right out of the way there. It was Thomas Morant we were looking for. So he does have a McLaren in front of him. There's Langford. Okay, so the McLaren was the slower of the three cars on the way in. Oh, and Morant. He was pretty much held up there through the chicane by the McLaren ahead. Tavanari and the gang said thank you very much. They popped their way through, and then just in the back end, it wasn't Jewig, it was Horman, as we can see, just touching that dirty stuff on the inside, not the thing to do. And he lost that position to John Gray then. It is insane at the moment. Can you turn yourself up a bit? Compared to John, your volume is a bit low. Yes, I can give him 2 clicks more oomph there, Busey.
More power. More power.
How is that? Oh, wow. Yeah, I'm really loud. Goodness me. Go and speak again, Simon.
Hello. We're back. We're not. We're
yes,
here.
what are?
We're in, we're out. We're shaking it all about.
Yes, that's better. There we go. Yeah, the whole place is on fire. Oh, is that Leon Seeley just in the background, just running a bit wide as well? Mustafa Ransbar right in the thick of the battles as well. He's got a simulation Porsche. Just making his way past there. Thomas Morant down in 7th position. I can imagine what colour the air is in that young man's racing rig at the moment. Certainly a not so subtle shade of blue, I would imagine. 7th place he finds himself. Look at Tavanari, fastest driver on the track, 1:58.647. It's his fastest race lap so far. I'm sure we'll see that tumbling. Chalukin has tumbled down the order as well. The F1 Means team find themselves down in 14th position. Oh, and we have our first pit stop. It's Willspin. The Porsche that was, of course, up near the front of the pack, now into the pits. How is it looking, Simon, in the steward's office?
I will report back in a minute. I've got 3 reports to go through.
Oh, okay, there we go.
We'll see you in a minute.
Right on cue, they arrive. And right on cue, we've got some more action on track. Hajo Horman has got the back of the McLaren in check, and he's looking to retake the position from John Gray. I do like this camera as well. Actually, although... where is that? We are... Oh yeah, through Maggots. So yeah, coming on to the hangar straight. Into Stone Vale once again. It's amazing how different the track looks from the different angles. Langford as well, actually, now that I'm mentioning that. Langford. Oh, he's gone side by side. This chicane seems to be a favourite place for the drivers to do battle. They're certainly not waiting about. Onto the Hamilton straight then. It is Jordan Daly, who's now up into 4th position, who finds himself being chased down by Ben Langford and Luca Tavanari. So the Race Ventura team into Village. Tavanari still all over the back. Great battle between him and Langford so far. The Aston Martin and the Porsche absolutely going at it in the background. Plenty of action still going on as well as Thomas Morant tries to get himself back in touch with the lead group. And there is Horman. Look, you can just see him lurking in the background there, popping out from behind the Aston Martin. Into the final couple of corners. Let's have a look from Helicam and see just how he's positioned. It does look like the Aston will maintain it for the moment. So 14 laps in, it's Larenk who is still leading the way. Leon Seeley and Alex Luderman, Team FWR, getting shouts in the chat. Up onto the podium with Jordan Daly in 4th place. Langford and Tavanari 5th and 6th. Morant 7th. Ransbart 8th. John Gray in 9th. And Hajo Horman rounding out the top 10 for the GT3s. And the GT4s is Matthias Kaczynski still leading the way. Just over a second ahead of Christoph Verstappen with Eli Poe's teammate. Not too far behind, he has got himself ahead of Alex Zakdal. Alex still very close for the Eclipse Racing esports team as well. He's in 4th position. 5th is Verstraeten for the BSIM team with Christian Butcher in 6th. Kildashev in 7th. And there is one of the lead Porsches coming through as Verhulst. I'm really struggling with that surname, it's terrible. Josh Barrett just down the road. Verhulst in the McLaren. Is Zach Duran. So we'll have seen a driver change. Zach Duran is out for the Porsche Works. I know which team he actually drives for. The Yuzu team, is it Team Yuzu? Mika Santanen at Will Company. Oh goodness me! Now where are we? 2, 4, 6, 10th. There we go. 11th is Alex Phillips. There we go. Charlie said, car 445. I did see that in the chat. That's why we jumped it on. Look at doing looking things. I love it. Says the real double. Oh, so there's the challenge. GSR Adicaprio. Hello. How are you doing? Welcome in, welcome in. James, you doing? Of course, car 445. That will be your chariot very soon. There's Danny Baisden, back up 1 position. An inauspicious start for the SOP car. They've certainly got the pace to make their way through. Terry Driscoll comes in to the pits for the SPS car. I've just seen him get the overtake done. But he comes in to the pits. And up at the front, you can see the success ballast. These aren't all penalties for anyone just tuning in. The car with 20 seconds of ballast, that's 20 seconds, so that was gifted to the drivers of the car because they came second in the race last week, so they will be stationary at one of their pit stops for an additional 20 seconds. Leon Seeley, the car we're looking at is now 15 seconds, and Martin Larenk, they finished 3rd last week, but the Connection Lost Racing team absolutely flying this time out, and they have got a 2-second gap, and because they finished 3rd, the least amount of ballast out of the GT3s, so you've got to think that puts them in a very good position. Speaking of being in a very good position, is this a good position for Tavanari? He's been behind Langford since the start of the race, all over the back of him, although things might change soon. We've got Langford, who's now caught up onto the back of Jordan Daly for the Race Ventura team. Alrighty then. Sorry, that was terrible. We're just coming on to the Wellington Straight. You can see Tavanari just there in the back, and if we jump on board with Thomas Morant, you can see the 3 of them just ahead. Of course, Morant, our pole sitter, finished 1st in the first race. That's why he has got that 20 seconds of ballast that he will serve in his pit stop. So the most amount of ballast, he has dropped down the order. Chulukin, up the inside of Mark Bunyan. Chulukin, another driver that was well up inside the top 5, and he's got that overtake done then. Out of the final corner and into turn number 1, Chulukin back up a position. Let's get back on board. We'll look at Tavanari and the gang up ahead, though. Ben Langford is going to be looking for a move as soon as possible, but again, he knows he needs to make sure it is a winning move, because if he doesn't, look at Tavanari, it's going to pop his car exactly where the Wild Thing driver leaves space to try and make the overtake. Whoa, and it's a great exit by the Aston Martin, and the McLaren got absolutely no answer to that one. And again, into the club chicane. It's another overtake we're seeing, and it could be a double position loss. Look at Tavanari up the inside. Oh! Wow, when he's held it. Absolute save of the day there. Very, very, very good save there. Where did that GT4 come from? Wow, was that how close they were? Wow, I did not see that GT. I did look a bit, that's why I jumped on board to look at the steering, but then I didn't see the GT4 the first time when that was live. Where did that's really weird. Yeah, that could well go to the stewards. We'll let them have a look at that as we try and keep up with the action, because there is still plenty of it going on. We've reached 35 minutes in the race, still got 2.5 hours of this to go as Oliver Zewig trying to get his way past Mark Bunyan. Round the outside of the last corner as Camille Chulukin. Oh, slight contact on, double contact on the straight. Definitely don't like to see contact being made on the straights. But Bunyan does lose that position, and Tamir Chulukin could be looking to get himself a cheeky double overtake here as well. Ludeman then up into third position now.
Okay, we're back. There are 3 incident reports that are still under review because they seem to be quite complex, so they're not going to be sorted out just yet. All the while, I heard you talking, John. It seemed that there was a lot of things unfolding as well.
Yes, Simon. Once again, massive understatement, my friend. Yeah, there's going to be more. Oliver Zewig, Mark Bunyan, and Chulukin. Yeah, there's been some more than spicy action going on. And what it's done is it's left Martin Larenc, Leon Seeley, and Alex Luderman for Team FWR currently riding the podium positions. Ben Langford for the Wild Things is up into 4th place with Jordan Daly in 5th. Luca Tavanari in 6th place with, I would say that's likely to go at the stewards. So that's an incident you should expect to drop into your lap pretty soon, I'm guessing. Thomas Morant's made his way back up to 7th. Mustafa Ransbar's managed to fend off Hajo Horman to hold on to 8th. Horman in 9th, and Adam Osterschars still rounding out the top 10. We've had Driscoll and Duran come into the pits. But in the GT4s, it is calm and serene, Simon, as Kaczynski, Verstappen hold on to 1st and 2nd, and Eli Poe has got his way past Zach Dahl, Simulation Esport 1st and 3rd. So it has been fun right through the field of the GT3s. The GT4 drivers kind of taking it a bit easier at this stage of the race. But yeah, there has been plenty going on. So much for me saying at I don't know if you remember, Simon, at the start I was saying, yeah, Oulton Park, tough place to start. Not a very wide track. Will be so much better here at Silverstone. Plenty of room to get past. Oh, and just as I'm about to get Simon on a question, we can see them going potentially 2 by 2 into Stowe. No, they're all through into the club chicane. Everyone breathe in. The Vivid Global Racing Car up the inside. John Grady doing the defending, leaves just enough room. It's coming absolutely thick and fast, Simon.
Yeah, fantastic. This is what we love to see. This action-packed, close racing, multi-class bonanza going on. You know, is never a dull lap, which is what we love to see. I know the GT4s, you said, seem to be pretty evenly spread out, but there's still lots of action going on because these GT3s seem to be catching and lapping them rather quickly. It's like every 15 minutes, or not even every 15 minutes, the GT3s are coming up to the GT4 traffic and trying to negotiate that, and every time they do that, it seems to throw out something of a new surprise every 15 minutes. So yeah, I mean, we're already 40 minutes into this race and it's been fantastic so far. The top two seem to be trying to pull away from the rest of the pack. Larenk trying to pull away from Leon Seeley in second. I mean, right now, this puts Ludeman and Langford in the top two spots of the race when Larenk and Seeley have to come in and serve their pit stops. And this should, ideally, shape the rest of the race to be a fantastic battle for the race lead, because, I mean, Morant's dropped back a bit, and all the Porsches have actually dropped back a bit. I'm not sure in this recent update that the Porsche had that it seems to be absolutely phenomenal in qualifying spec. We're seeing them always at the front of the grid in qualifying, but then they're just dropping back slightly in the race, and it's allowing everyone else to close up and overtake. Morant and Tabanari were pole in 4th place, and now they're in 6th and 7th. Langford and Daly and Ludeman were behind all of them, and they've been able to progress up further in the opening stages of this one. So yeah, because of the success penalty still to be applied in the pit stop, I have no idea how this is going to play out. It's going to be fantastic to see in the next, I guess, 20 minutes when these first stops are being made, what the running order and pecking order is going to be. Don't forget the fastest lap gives an extra 2 points. I know it's not much, but it all helps in a championship battle. And I mean, the rookie monk. Oh, that is not what we expected to see there. That was a colossal mountain of the curbs between Tabanari and Morant. It looked like Tabanari didn't do Tabanari things, and he made a driver error there. We very rarely see that type of thing from Luca there. And now No, I'm still in the steward's room actually, trying to sort these incidents out because there's a few coming in now. There's like you said, there's so many battles going on that there's a bit of contact happening now up and down the field. So penalties and instant reports are now coming in because people are seemingly racing just a little bit too hard for some of these teams' liking. Some of these overtakes are seeming to be deemed not fair. So that's how the steward's room is happening right now. So we'll get these incidents out of the way and then we'll be back with you. I'll try and sort them all before the first round of pit stops so everyone can come out and have a fresh slate for the remainder of the race. Okay, we're back. Okay, yeah, no worries, yes. So penalties applied now. All current incident reports are now finished. As you may have seen, there's been some penalties applied. The 505 has picked up a 5-second penalty for some minor contact, and the 71 has picked up a 10-second penalty for causing a collision. And so, as we can see, you can't see right now because it's on autopilot, but now we've got 5 of the top 8 cars, all with penalties to be served in the pit stop phase. So it's definitely going to shuffle the pack as we're on board with the GT4 action. Actually, it's teammates Alex Phillips and Danny Baisden in the 32 and 888. They're the last of the GT4s who haven't made a pit stop. All those beneath them have served at least one pit stop. I'm surprised to see cars in this early. I did mention, I think it was during qualifying, that these GT4 cars can actually run up to 90 minutes, so they can do the entire first half of this race on one fuel tank, and they only need one stop to make it to the end of the race. So I'm surprised to see some cars already in, making their first pit stop this early. It just confirms that those GT4s are definitely on at least a 2-stop strategy. So it's definitely still all to play for in the GT4 class. We'll see these strategies play out. I know that there's some of the SOP esports team anyway that are doing 90 minutes on one tank and one set of tyres before pitting to do the next 90 minutes on the second the second full fuel tank and new rubber. We'll see if it's quicker than the 2-stop strategy. Obviously they save over 45 seconds by not coming into the pit stop a second time, but it's whether they lose that 45 seconds in pace difference by staying out on that old rubber longer. As the number 92 is coming through to lap the GT4 traffic then, as we're now starting to see some of the top GT3 runners and riders make their first pit stop 55 minutes into the race. Luca Tabanari is coming in for the 37 Porsche. It's been a race of attrition for these Porsches because they seem to be struggling with race pace, and they're just falling slightly off the front of the pack. As just before everybody comes into the pits, we will give everybody a full rundown then. So in the GT3 class, it is the 404 BMW with Laurent piloting that one, leading the way 6 seconds ahead of Leon Seeley, who's almost 10 seconds ahead of Ludeman in the 21 Porsche. That's your 1, 2, 3 in GT3s. The top 2 do have their success penalties to take in this pit stop. 10 seconds for Laurent, 15 seconds for Seeley. So definitely Laurent will actually pop back out inside the top 3 once it's all done and dusted. It's whether he can close that gap back up to the top 2. Langford sits in 4th place for Wild Things Racing, and then Daly sits in 5th place in the 115. 3rd, 4th and 5th have no success penalties, so you'll see them jump up further to the front of the field. And then we have Horman and Ranjbar in 6th and 7th. They have both picked up penalties via the stewards. Morant is now in the pits, so he's countering Luca Tabanari, and he is serving his 20-second success penalty that they had from round 1 as well for being victorious. So they're going to drop right down the order, and they've got 2 hours to make up that time lost in the pit stop window. Ostrazark, Dewig and Shaluka make up the top 10, as we see a drive through for track limits for the 445 Mercedes of Sedan then in the GT4 class. That's the second car that's picked up a drive-through penalty for track limits. We saw one of the GT3s pick up a drive-through for track limits earlier in the race already. It's I'm guessing most of these track limits are being made out of turn 1 because it's very hard to pick up a penalty at any other point of Silverstone. If I remember correctly, it's not a track that's heavy for track limits. Well, really at any point of the track apart from turn 1 if they go too wide, as Ludeman is in from 3rd place in the GT3 class. Yeah, we'll go through the GT4s. Kaczynski is leading the way. He is 5 seconds ahead of Verstappen, who has that 20-second penalty to serve in his pit stop. Those two are away and gone. They've got almost 30 seconds to the rest of the GT4 class. Eli Poe is running 3rd in the next Simulation Esports Mercedes, as he has 7 seconds over Zakdal, as Kildashev brings it in 5th place. Boucher is in 6th. And then we have a GT3 in the mix of the GT4s just for good measure. Lelhurst, Santonen, Baisden and Phillips then bring it up the rear of the field. Everyone else behind them made their pit stops. And yeah, we should be seeing a lot of the GT3 field in now. We might be seeing a lot of the GT4 field in now, but like I said, we know the GT4s can go over 90 minutes on one tank of fuel. So we'll see how strategy plays out.
Sorry, say that again. We know the what can do over 90 minutes. The GT4s can do over 90 minutes, yeah?
GT4s can do over 90 minutes on one full tank of fuel, yeah. So we'll see how strategy plays out for the GT4s. On the background then, it looked like every car was going wide into the... It's not rally racing, it's tarmac racing, circuit racing.
That's one way to get noticed on the stream.
A stop-go penalty and a drive-through penalty being applied. So the 505 having a torrid time. They picked up a penalty by the stewards, and now they picked up a stop-go 30 for speed in the pit lane. As we saw another drive-through penalty being handed out as well. Who was that for? That might have been for Corvin, who's in the pits and coming back out of the pits.
Yeah, I think it was a reminder that Sedan has got 2 laps to serve his as well.
Right, okay.
Yeah, because that does keep popping up. The reminder keeps popping up to say, oh, you've got a couple of laps left. Behave yourself.
Keep an eye on, John, a Mr. Felix Lutz in the 21 Porsche. He was a man on a mission at Alton Park. If you remember, they started right at the rear of the field in 33rd place behind all the GT4s, all the GT3s. By the time the pit stop window opened and they came in, they were already up to 7th overall. Unfortunately, they did have a disconnect in the race, which obviously completely messed up their race entirely. But they were definitely on a charge, and the lead car who's made a pit stop right now, they're ahead of Tabanari, they're ahead of Peter Brett, they're ahead of Ranjba, you know, they're ahead of pretty much everybody. So Lutz in the 21 machine could be odds-on favourites to take the win here, because Lorenk and Seeley still have to pick with that success penalty as well. Yeah,
that could be an absolute charge, you're right. Team FWR, they were getting shouts for the win in the chat. Could it be? We'll certainly see. One of the race leaders, where has... Oh, it's Peter Brett that's come back out, of course. He set the quality time. So it's Peter Brett taking over for Thomas Morant. They've served their success penalty. So that's done and out the way. So they're ready to carry on with the race. That's another penalty that's just appeared at the bottom of my screen there, as that splits that, so I need to move that down through the track limits for 4. Oh yeah, 1 lap remaining for 4:45. So that is the Sedan car. Langford, he is right behind Lutz, in fact. So he had a great opening stint, but he is in fact behind Lutz now, I think, is how we should actually be wording that. Now that I'm looking at it, let me just move that to there. Yeah, we need a better size for that. But yeah, Langford, let's just have a look at that refill. Yeah, so he is behind. But he is hanging right on the back of Lutz. So yeah, Ben Langford, he's had a great opening stint. He's come in taking a pit stop and coming straight back out again. Laurent still out on track, leading the way. Jordan Daly in third on track. Chulukin in fourth. Bunyan just on his way out. Ekman, as I mentioned, we saw him run wide through turn 1 early doors. He's back up to 6th at the minute. Of course, still got to take his pit. And then Lutz and Langford, the two drivers we were watching. Wazy is out. Ooh. Oh, and that's a big mistake through Maggots and Beckett's for the Vivid Global Racing car. Just sheer luck we caught that, and no luck for Wazy. His teammate Schnalzger now ahead of him. Dan Gleebles and Peter Brett not far down the road. Ransbar. That's an interesting proposition. I mean, what's going to happen there, Simon? Like, Mustafa Ransbar, if he's got back-to-back penalties, does that mean he's going to be penalised, or does he have 3 laps and then 3 laps? I take it they run consecutively, I take it they run concurrently, not consecutively.
No, he only had a 5-second penalty from the stewards.
Ah, okay.
And now he's got 1 lap left to serve this stop go 30.
Ah, okay. I thought he got a drive through as well. I was going to say that's, yeah, interesting times. Oh, and speaking of interesting times, Langford's got the move done on Lutz then. So Lutz might have been the man on fire at the end of the last race, but Ben Langford not messing about, and again. Oh, no, it's not actually. I was going to say it's another one. Into club, but it absolutely is not. It's into Stowe this time, goes right round the outside. Beautifully done.
The best viewing point at Silverstone, may I add.
Is that where you sit when you go?
That's where we sat to watch the British GT last year, yeah. Actually, it was supposed to be closed and locked off from the spectators because British GT only rent out 2 of the stands in the entire track, and around Stowe they rent out no stands for spectators, but we saw someone sneak in there and we followed them through, and then within the space of 15 to 20 minutes the entire stand was full of spectators when it shouldn't have been, and the stewards come along and kicked everybody out. Yeah, quite a day.
Quality. Yeah, good stuff. And you did finish there while I was mid-mouthful of a cup of tea. Phenomenal timing. Look at Tavanari. Speaking of phenomenal timing, he's not had a phenomenal time of it, but he has set a phenomenal race lap so far. 1 minute 58.647. The quickest that we have seen in the opening exchanges. He's doing a cheeky double stint to start. As Simon mentioned at the start, there are 0 requirements in the pit stop. All you have to do is take a pit stop, and before the end of the race, change driver at least once. There's no driver stint timer, there's no requirements on what you do when you come into the pits, like Martin Larenc, who's just come in from the lead of the race. John Daly is closing in. Langford, now where is he? Just coming on to the Hamilton straight. So he is going to be. So Langford is putting an absolutely phenomenal stint, and unless I am very much mistaken, he's up
through.
He is in 2nd position. I don't think he's not quite through. No, so I don't think he's going to take first. It depends on the length, but he is up to 2nd place overall, Simon, because he's ahead of Lutz, and he is definitely ahead of Luca Tavanari. But then it depends on the amount of time he spent in the pits, something which I, at the moment, can't quite double check. In fact, I'll get to that. But yeah, so Langford, great drive there. Jordan Daly is ahead. There is Larenc coming out of the pits and just exiting the last corner. So just at the pit entrance is Langford. So Jordan Daly, the on-track leader, Martin Larenc, in and out of the pits and maintains that race lead. So the BMW absolutely flying. Ooh, Peter Brett just making a bit of contact with the back of John Gray there, or at least that is John Gray's car. It was Dan Gleebles. Oh, it's not quite enough space left there for the Porsche. Did get 2 wheels on the grass. We're easy in the background. Look at Tavanari watching this one as well. So it is all down to the pit stops for these drivers. Matthias Kudzelia is back out. He's come in and taken his pit stop. He's come back out in 4th in class. So that goes to show you how quick he's running at the moment. Kildashev, he's running 3rd on track at the moment, but he's got Zakdal well within his sights, as we can see through the village complex again. Not quite enough room left. Door closed at mid-apex, and that is going to cost him a couple of positions, to say the least, as that is the Rookie Monsters car that comes through. But I think he is a lap down, as Eli Poe is leading the way. Santonin and Boucher there in the top 5 as well. Danny Baisden still got his penalty to serve from the success in race number 1. Just start right at the back, putting in some very quick laps compared to those around them at the moment. So it'll be interesting to see where they finish up the race. Alex Phillips for SOP Sport as well, comfortably inside the top 10, but again, still to take that pit stop. There is Charlie Sen coming in, stop go 32nd to be served, so likely to make a driver swap there as well, as we are 20 minutes from the halfway mark in the race. Jordan Daly still out on track. It's an hour and 10 the McLaren has done so far, so quite the first stint compared to the rest of the GT3s. They are the last ones to take their pit stop. Tavanari.
I'm quite confused, I am, John.
Go.
Can you check the pit stops for the 404 and the 10? Because Larenc had a 10-second penalty from his success ballast, from his success at round number 1, and yet he's managed to extend his race lead after the pit stops over the rest of the field. I do wonder if the 404 has decided not to take tyres to save 30 seconds in that first stop, because the 404 machine is absolutely gapped the rest of the GT3 field out of nowhere.
Yeah, I'm just having a look. Right, okay, let me bring this.
So Leon is reporting that he had 8 seconds of damage to repair. So Jusen has taken over the 324. He's dropped down in what is either 4th or 5th position, depending on when Daly pops out of the pits. And there's the reason why we call Martin Larenc Jesus. Funny.
I mean, yeah, Larenc 1 minute 15.
What was Langford in the number 10?
1 minute 4. Seeley 1 minute 29. Osterschar's 1 minute 8. 1 minute 7. 1 minute 20. So varying times. Bunyan 104, as you expect. Morant with that extra long penalty, 1 minute 34. Tavanari 1 minute 32. Wow, so a long stop for Tavanari. That's why he is down the order. And Daly has in fact come in and taken his pit stop while I've been trawling through the data. And he is back out on track. And is he actually ahead?
No, Daly's sliding back down.
Yeah, there we go. So it is Ben Langford. 109, so not even the quickest pit stop, but certainly a great opening stint as he just makes his way past some battling GT4s. Wayuzi is getting himself involved again. That is Dan Kleeble's ahead. Oh, and then McLaren's got it done this time through Magus and Beckett's on the exit. That is a position done for Global Racing. They're up to 12th place then. Luca Tavanari. Just ahead of the GT4 B-Sim car. He's making his way through the field, trying to get to Peter Brett ahead of him. James Rollins is out in the SOP Porsche. Snellsgaard, as we mentioned, he's out for Vivid Global Racing. Chalukin still out. Misha Filipiak coming out in the simulation car. Jordan Daly coming back out for Race Ventura. Marcus Juzma back out. Lutz, of course, the driver swap there. Ben Lanford back out for Wild Things Racing. The same with Martin Larenc. So a lot of the teams going for a double stint. As far as the drivers go, certainly in the GT3 class. Much the same story in the GT4s, whereas Eli Poe, the on-track leader, with his simulation esports teammate Matthias Kudzelia, certainly the leader in that class. But Poe's definitely done well because he was third. It was first and third for simulation esports, so he's got himself ahead of Kildashev for the F1 memes team, and Alex Zakdal not too far down the road. He does have the Rookie Monsters car just behind him.
Yeah, so it's interesting in the GT4s actually, John.
Yes.
Obviously, we can see here it's basically split 50-50. There's half of the field who opt in, it looks like, to take that one-stop strategy and do 90 minutes with the full fuel tank. And it looks like the other half have opted to do a two-stop strategy and take less fuel for shorter stints. We'll see how this one plays out, because Kudzelia, like we said, was leading the way. He's quite the way off the race lead right now, with Eli Poe taking up the race lead. And yeah, I mean, all those four GT4s just behind Kudzelia as well. They've still got another 15 minutes before we expect them into the pits. And then they don't need to make another pit stop until the end of the race, whereas every other GT4 between them do. So yeah, it's going to be really interesting to see this GT4 battle.
Yeah, bringing it right down to the wire once again. We do love that around here. There is Bradley just making his way through. Just watching Martin Ulrich here, looking very quick for the McLeod Racing team. Well, I'm sure there was another team he used to race for. It escapes me at the moment, but it will come to me. There's a shout out in the chat now that the Scottish Useless Broadcaster's got them working. He's got the shout out, the bods working. The shout out, get Leon Seeley jump on board. Make sure you watch his stream. There's another streamer as well. Like the shout out. But RCI TV welcoming as well. Martin Larenc being hailed as the mighty chosen one. We have got Linda Gray. Thank you for the follow and jumping in the chat as well. Good race, John. Now, is that John Daly? No, Jordan Daly. John Gray. Would that be John Gray? P9, let's go. It says Rafa. Cheering on the Porsche. Where is that car went? Oh, Dan. Yes, that's the car that John Gray was driving in. Is that who you're cheering on, Linda? Let me know. We can get them on camera. Because we've got a Jay Clark as well. I'm not sure what his first name is, but that's the Nova 2 Motorsport BGT. 15th in class at the moment. Still going to be a lot of movers and shakers though. Certainly a couple of penalties have been served. Obviously the top three with their success ballast. Oh, this Kudzelia already back up to third place in class after that pit stop. Yes, indeed, says Linda, it was John Gray. Yep, so he is out in the number 92 car. So yeah, it was a good first stint. His teammates under a bit of pressure there. Matthias Kudzelia though, feeling a bit pressure free. Doesn't show it on the telemetry, but he is ahead. There we go, there's Zakdal behind him. So he is back to third in class despite taking his pit stop. So it is looking very good for Simulation Esports in the GT4 class. Eli Poe's got himself up to first at the moment. He is second as his teammate, or the sister car, makes their way back onto the podium again. Philip Lutz as Simon pointed out, was on an absolute charge at the end of the last race at Wilton Park. Doing so again here, Team FWR up into third. Ben Langford though, again another phenomenal drive from Ben so far. Approaching the halfway mark, he's got himself up to second. And he is more than matching Martin Laurent's lap times. I can tell you, he was actually a 10th quicker. I mean, I realise when you've got 19 seconds to make up a 10th, may seem like a small drop in the ocean, but he's certainly more than comparable with lap times. So it's a great run up at the front for Ben Langford in the GT4s. We've got quite a few cars that have taken their pit stops. We can see Bradley Sellers there in the Rookie Monsters car. He's more than keeping up with the rest of the GT4s. Does find himself a lap down at the minute. Baisden and Phillips still need to take their pits. There's Zach Dahl coming out the pits, in fact, from 4th position. Eclipse Racing Esports team. And there he is, just dropped and back and running again. Mustafa Ransbar trying to get his way past Clark. And he does so on the way into Magnussen Beckett's. Very comfortably done. He did, of course, serve a stop-go 30-second penalty for track limit violations. I'm guesstimating. Oh, well, actually, no, it wouldn't be for track limit violations. It would have been for speeding in the pit lane on the way out. It's a drive-through for speeding on the way in, and a stop-go 30-second for speeding on the way out, and a straight drive-through for more than 3 track limit violations. So Ransbar serving that 30-second stop go. Getting out of the way, he's back out in 15th position. Peter Brett just making it past his SOP teammate James Rollins there. This will be the Hamilton straight they're coming off. As indeed they've got, an unsighted GT4. Oh, sorry, the GT4 wasn't unsighted. He wasn't unsighted. It was Peter Brett and James Rollins, certainly. Peter Brett that may not have seen him till the very last second there as Rollins' post moved out of the way. But Brett up now ahead of his teammate, up into 9th position. Tavanari has closed that gap. He was at 2.5 seconds behind these two. He's now 1.9. So he is closing in. Lutt's closing in as well, down to 5.7 seconds. Langford set at 20.5, so he's lost a second over that last lap. In fact, just short of a second looking at the lap times. And we've got James Rollins still chasing his teammate. How are we looking, Simon, in the steward's office?
Clean and clear so far. Yeah,
Oh.
we're here.
Excellent.
Clear in the steward's office right now. I'm just listening to your beautiful voice lead us through the commentary. That's all. I am here.
Excellent. Well, give us a quick rundown. What penalties have we seen so far? Because I might have missed a couple popping up on the screen. So we'll have to have the stewards handed anything out so far?
Oh, right, you've got to make me do some work.
Yes, I'm afraid I am, Simon. Yes, I do occasionally need to breathe, despite popular belief.
Okay then. So the penalties so far in this race have been few and far between. Actually, we've had a very clean lap one again. Actually, no drive-through penalties for lap one incidents, which is fantastic to see. We saw a 5-second penalty for car 505 causing a collision with the car 92. We've had a no further action racing incident between two teams. We've had a 10-second penalty applied for car 71 causing a collision. They sent the 92 car for a spin. And there's just been another racing incident with no further action. There was actually a bit of a bunch up on lap one involving several cars. I think there was 6 or 7 GT4s all bunched up at the same point. And a few cars got a bit bumped and bruised, but it was deemed, the entire thing was deemed just a racing incident at the start of the race. No one was at fault for it. And that's all we've had so far. So only 4 incidents to review. We've seen a couple of drive-throughs for track limits. We've seen a couple of infringements during the pit stop window that's caused some teams to have some stop-go penalties for speeding in the pit lane. But it's been rather clean and close battling going on out there on track. It's been fantastic to watch this race. I think it's, if you try to sum up what is multi-class racing, you look at this and you think, this is the answer. It's been fantastic from the word go. A lot of the GT3s, for most of the part, have been respectable.
Respectful.
Respectful, yeah, that's the word I'm looking for. Yeah, and it's just been creating fantastic action lap after lap.
It has indeed. I'm just looking down there. He is there. Chris Severt has been handed the wheel from Mr. Baisden. So they're back out. So they're definitely made up at the moment 3 places. They've got a couple of other drivers to take their pit stops. So that's not bad considering they started last after not setting a qualifying time. Were involved in an incident, ended up last again, and had 20 seconds to serve in the pit stop because they were so successful in race number 1.
And don't forget, John, as well. I mean, Severt's taken over. He's just under 12 seconds behind Verhurst. You know, you've got the 77, the 40, the 912, and the 41, and the number 4. They're all coming back into the pits. They need to make another pit stop, so they're going to lose another 60 seconds at least, you know, 60 to 70, maybe even longer, in that next pit stop window to get themselves to the end of the race. Whereas Chris Severt and those who are staying out for the up to 90 minutes, I know Triple Eight is coming just before the 90 minutes are up, but that should see them to the end of the race, and well, it could change everything. We'll see how far up the field he can get now.
Yeah, that'll be interesting to see. Ooh, speaking of interesting, Filipiak taking an interesting line. Tamir Chulukin very nearly. I'll tell you what, he's closed up enough on the Hamilton straight that he could be right in the slipstream here. Is he going to get a good run? We will certainly see. Totally forgot what it was you said to me this time because I got distracted by that actually. But the GT4s, yeah, as you were saying, yeah, sorry. Chris Severt, it will be certainly be fun to see how far back through the field. Their teammates, our sister car, guided at the moment by Alex Phillips. He's got 10 seconds to serve, so we'll see where he comes back out. But Kadzelia up to 3rd place. Purely on merit again, in and out of the pits to get his first pit stop done. So the simulation car running great guns. F1 memes have got their car second on track, so you would think probably about 3rd. Ulrich for the McLeod Racing team as well are definitely going to be ones to watch. So there is Phillips stationary for what will seem like a lifetime. Ulrich is indeed through. Verstraeten through as well. Verhulst. I really do need to practice that one. You think that one would be quite easy as well. He's going to make it through as well. So Phillips definitely tumbling down the order. Whereas Chris Severt, he is just rounding the last corner. He's got the Vivid Global Racing car just behind them. Phillips still stationary. Marky Marks. Hey, been as hectic to watch as it felt on track. Yes, 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 Mark. Oh, Matt Camelio Simon, on the way out of the pits, has taken a few liberties, and the stewards are going to be taking some time back from him. So after serving 10 seconds from the Success Palace in the first pit stop, next trip into the pits is a stop-go 32nd. For the number 32 car in 29th place, and Chris Severt already made his way through. Bad to worse for Phillips there. And Camelio, sorry, because on the way out for the stop with 32nd.
If they weren't last, they're definitely going to be last after that. I mean, they were looking good because they didn't have another stop to make. And now it puts them on a two-stop strategy, basically, which basically nullifies all the ground that they made up in that first part of the race. So yeah, they're just going to be at the rear of the field, and it's going to be a 14th place finish for them if nothing else goes wrong for the teams above them. Not the way you want a 3-hour race to go, is it? From bad to worse.
Yeah, indeed, there is. Yeah, definitely better race strategies out there, unfortunately, and yeah, that SOP car going to really struggle now to get themselves back inside the top 10. Still got an hour and a half to go, though. You never know. Stranger things have certainly happened. As Simon mentioned, there is points up for grabs for the fastest lap of the race. It's no longer in the hands of Luca Tavanari. It is Martin Larenc. He has absolutely lost no connection. You've got to love the... they're called Connection Lost Racing, and their car number is 404. Yep, if you get it, you get it. And they're definitely getting 23.3 seconds, so they are extending that gap to the Wild Things Racing team behind. But Langford as well, definitely no slouch here as he's extending the gap to Lutz in third place. So the Wild Things Racing team definitely here to contend at the sharper end of the grid. We're seeing some potential action just on the periphery of the top 10, in fact just inside the top 10, as the rookie monsters are going after Vivid Global Racing and one of the SOP Porsches in the form of Peter Brett. He is leading these three at the moment. Tavanari, one-time holder of the fastest lap. It was a 1 minute 58.6. Martin Larenc's quickest lap was a 1 minute 58.5. So there is only a tenth separating the fastest laps of these two drivers. But at the halfway mark, it is Larenc that's got the lead, and he's got those extra points tucked safely in the bank at the moment. Can he carry them all the way to the end? An hour and a half of Silverstone. We're certainly going to find out. Find out.
Find out.
I went all Canadian there. I was going to say Chaluka.
I mean, one thing again to what I've noticed is the race pace on every other car besides the Porsche is phenomenal. The McLarens are making their way up through the field nicely. The BMWs are making their way up through the field nicely. The Astons seem to have a nice balance of qualifying and race pace. They're, well, second and fourth, so they're having a good showing right now. But Larenc in that BMW, they've not been the fastest in qualifying in this season so far, but their race pace has been the fastest in both rounds so far. And I guess it's race day where it matters, because that's where the points are scored. The top 16 walk away with points, so at least all the GT4s are walking away here with points in the bag. And yeah, as it stands, is going to certainly shake up the championship standings heading into round 3, because of the success penalties being applied, you know, the 3, 2, 4 and the 7. They're not at the front of the field like they were at round 1, and it's going to help Larenc move up the championship standings with, as it stands anyway, a win at round 2 and a third place at round 1. That should be enough to see them atop of the championship heading into round 3.
Yeah, it's certainly going to be quite the championship going forward. We've got quite the selection of tracks still to come. Oh, look at Tavanari having a look on the way into the village complex. He's positioned that Porsche perfectly onto the Wellington straight, or has he? The McLaren's just going to hold the inside line, and it's the outside line for Tavanari, right on the outside line. He's going to have more acceleration. Can he get it done off the Wellington straight? They've got a GT4 just ahead of them, and Peter Brett in the Porsche again crosses over the McLaren, trying to look. Oh, beautiful move by Tavanari, getting that one done on the brakes. Finds himself up into 9th position. He's got a GT4 car. That is Verstretten for the B Sim team. Just very cautiously getting himself out of the way. Oh, but the McLaren round the outside into turn number 1. Is he going to make the counter move? Tavanari right on that inside apex. The McLaren couldn't quite get it done into Maggots and Beckett's. It is going to be Tavanari that will hold on to that position, and his fellow Porsche driving Peter Brett he now focuses his attention on, although I'm sure Snarlsgirl will still be in the mix in a few laps time. We can see 3 GT3s and 2 GT4s, and Cholukin has absolutely made the most of that traffic there, and he's got himself ahead of Filipiak on the way out of club. That is done and dusted. Filipiak very cautiously making his way through the GT4s, and it has indeed cost him that position. They're a bit too cautious maybe, but better safe than sorry. And into Village Complex it is Timur Cholukin who gets himself back up to 6th position. Eli Poe comes into the pits, and in fact so does Kill the Chef, which means that Matthias Kinzelia will very quickly retake the lead of the race. There is 2nd place Ben Langford just going past through turn 1. Kinzelia.
Question for you, John.
Yes, go.
How long is a GT4 pit stop?
GT4 pit stop.
The average, should we say?
Oh yeah. Yeah, you're looking roughly about the same.
Okay, about 75 seconds.
Yeah, roughly about that. Yeah, about a minute 8.
Okay. Well, we'll see what type of lead Kinzelia has, and that'll help us understand where he's going to be for his 2nd pit stop, because Eli Poe and Kill the Chef, we know, are now going to the end of the race, whereas Kinzelia still needs to make a pit stop. So,
sorry, yeah, I've seemed to have lost some of the pit data. Let me just see if
as Kill the Chef picks up a drive-through for speeding in the pits, then that's going to hamper his podium chances.
Oh yeah, it definitely is. The F1 memes team. So that's both cars then. Who is driving? Oh yeah, Cholukin, he was up. He's back up to 6th position, to be fair. So their GT3 car doing not too bad again, but did drop down the order. Could potentially be chasing for the win. Ekman, he's putting in a great 2nd stint after a bit of a wobbly start. We saw him run off, as I mentioned, at club on the way onto Hamilton Straight. He's now gathered himself up nicely, back up to 15th position. And he's got Mustafa Ranjbar just ahead of him. And we've got a drive-through penalty. Oh, the F1 memes team. Their Porsche finds himself. That must have been for speeding on the way into the pits or for track limits. I missed the notification at the bottom of this. Oh no, that's the.
Yeah, that's what I was
that's
on
the. Yeah,
that was Kill the Chef.
Kill the Chef.
Zoltarov took over, yeah, so that was speeding in the pits.
Oh yeah, just because of the driver swap, that does catch me out sometimes. There's Camelio just running at the back. That is the Vivid Global car just ahead, just behind them. There's Arden Basil for Team FWR, bringing up the rear of the field at the moment. Chris Severt, he's made it up 4 positions. So far, that's halfway through the race. Another 4 positions would certainly be a massive improvement on his points haul. Terence Keenan all over the back of Gel Verstretten for the B-Sim Racing team. And there's somebody else coming into the pits. Oh yeah, that's Zolotarev serving that drive-through. Into turn number 1, look at the Ginetta so much later on the brakes here. Into Maggots and Beckett's. It does look like Keenan is poised to get that overtake done. Camille Panis is taking over for Eli Poe, so it's still 1 and 1st and 3rd, sorry, for Simulation Esport. Kinzelia and Panis getting the business done. Ulrich in 2nd place there. Verstretten just hanging on to the 4th turn. Keenan in 5th place. There is Zolotarev. Coming out of the pits. Has he lost any more positions? He has.
I'll tell you what, John.
Yes.
I was just looking at the deltas then. Kinzelia's only got a 40-second advantage over Ulrich in 2nd place of the GT4 class. Now, Gazalia's still got to make a stop, and if a stop is 75 seconds, well, Ulrich's got this win in the bag if he can keep the gap over Panis. And I think that's going to be the same for all these cars that are only one stop in, because they're going to get the jump massively over these GT4s that need to make a second stop. I mean, yeah, 30 seconds advantage for not taking a second stop here. Is it really that much? Over a race distance? I mean, we'll see now, because those GT4s that did come into the pits on the hour, we'll see them back into the pits in the next 20 or so minutes. Yeah, I think all those GT4s that have one stop to play the blinder, and they're going to be well ahead of everybody else.
Yeah, and just as you say that, Martin Ulrich comes into the pits.
Oh, okay. Maybe he didn't one stop. Maybe he was a car that also had a two stop to make.
Yeah.
I'm confused.
Yeah, some of the strategies.
That's a weird time for Ulrich to come in.
It is, yeah.
He's only just gone out.
Yeah, that is a good point, actually. Let me just see. Yeah, he's only done 11 laps.
Must be a driver issue on board there.
Yeah, for some reason I can't see the original pit stop data that has off the screen, but I've got his current pit stop on the screen. The timer is ticking. But yeah, he did the first 34 laps, and then he's done 11 laps and come back in. So you're right, it does seem like a very strange time to get that stop done, to get that come in for that second stop. And he's still in the pits, 1 minute 28, 1 minute 30. Wow, that is a really long pit stop as well. So that's definitely not doing him any favours either. We're still watching Terence Keenan there. He has got himself ahead of Verstappen. Kanika not far in the background. Zolotarev for the F1 memes team. He served that drive-through. He's got Ben Langford just making his way past. But he's come back out in 7th place. So could still make a move on the top 5. And we'll certainly see Martin Larenc still hanging on to the fastest lap of the race. Ben Langford in 2nd. Marcus Duzma in 3rd place. He, of course, is taking over for Leon Seeley. Got Jordan Daly in 4th place on the Hamilton straight, looking to make a move. The Race Ventura McLaren looking very quick indeed into the Village Complex. They've got the Team Black Snow car just ahead of them as well. 3 wide on the exit on the way onto the Wellington straight. They do live to fight another day, of course. It is Daly who's still got that third position taken then. So it's Race Ventura getting the overtake done on that exit. Sorry, I got distracted there ever so slightly. We have a follow from Dino Man. Thank you very much for the follow. Welcome along to SOP. Let's see. Been hectic indeed. It has. You like to say, or just cheering for the rookie monster? Just cheering. Car 62 is out. Silverstone always makes for a great race, says Clue that's got indeed. Shame me battery's almost gone. Got to go. Good luck, guys. Looking great racing thus far, but don't worry. Yeah, you can catch the VOD on Twitch, and if Simon remembers, you'll be able to get it on YouTube as well. Moving swiftly on, Simon. Moving
I'll
swiftly
make sure I upload them.
Excellent. The Team Black Snow, the car that we saw, that was being guided by Matthias Sarenpa. He's taking over. Chris Severt looking very quick as well into Stowe. He's all over the back of Verhulst at the moment. Just cautiously getting out of the way though as a GT3 car comes through. And that is Duzma, so that is 2nd and 3rd. And it's just coming past. Oh, beautiful work there by Sever. That is the joys of multi-class racing. Goes side by side with Verhulst and onto the Hamilton straight. He's got his nose just in front. So that is another position taken then for the SOP car.
Okay, I know why they needed to come into the pits, the number 41.
Okay.
There's a penalty to be applied for a GT3 car because coming onto the Hamilton straight, the number 41 got absolutely murdered by the overtaking GT3s. Now, as we all know, GT4s are entitled to the racing line, and it just seemed that there was total disregard for them being there, and they got collected and they hit the wall rather hard, and that is why they needed to pit for repairs.
Okay, so it was a pit for repairs. Oh, right, okay, I still can't get this to work. That pit more lights and absolutely off. Excellent. But that's so good. So yeah, so we found out there. So there's Driscoll and Golshian both coming at the pits as well. So this will be their final pit stop. Dewsbury and Daly. Very close indeed. Battle for the final podium position. Dino Man, hello. How's your day been? Been brilliant, mate. I've had some. I've been commentating all day. I've had some absolutely off the charts racing on GT7 this morning, and just been some unbelievable. I mean, please, honestly, go back and watch the VOD just for the qualifying. And that has set things up beautifully for the race that we're seeing. Podium battles in both classes. Oh, drive through.
That's the penalty.
Oh, that's the penalty.
That's me applying the penalty.
Right, okay.
The number 92 was responsible for wiping out one of the leading GT4 cars, and so that's why that penalty is.
Oh, yeah. Right, so we'll go then. That is 12 this car 92. That is, yes, the ESR team. So they will get themselves, that's a drive-through penalty. They will serve within 3 laps. 1 hour 14 minutes to go. We've well and truly reached and breached the halfway mark of the race. Still a lot of pit stops to take, but at the moment in the GT4s it is Matthias Kidzelia showing the rest of the field a clean pair of heels. He's got Camille Panis, his teammate, in second place. Terence Keenan for Eclipse Racing Esports up into third. Kanika fourth. Zoltarev still hanging on to fifth, with Chris Sever up into sixth position. Only the 8 places so far, an hour and 14 minutes still to go. Drives Verhulst for the Belgian racing team. Hopefully I'm not butchering that too much.
So that could be good for a podium in the Triple Eight machine, depending on how the top 5 need to negotiate their pit stops.
Indeed he could.
I think he might be the fastest GT4 out on track right now.
Yes, he is. Matthias Sarenpa, he's in 8th. He's got Peter Brett just going around outside of him on the exit of the club on the Hamilton Straight. Sir Verstretten 9th. And Kevin Soufrier for the B-Sim Racing team, rounding out the top 10 in the GT4s. Camelio, Barrett and Basil all running as well. And oh, we've got another driver into the pits. That's Zach Duran in the Porsche. Very much used to seeing Zach up at the sharp end of the grid. 17th at the moment. This will be his final pit stop. The positions all could change massively given the way the pit stops have worked out. So it'll be interesting to see what everyone does for the second round. There's a lot of blue flags waving. Pretty much constant blue flags around the course now, with the GT4s and the GT3s mixing at will. We've got Gleeballs come into the pits to serve that drive-through. That's that cleared. There is the B-Sim GT4 McLaren, just being passed by the race leader and fastest car on track, Ben Langford. Just down the road, let me just get confirmation. I tell you, he's very much matching Larenc lap for lap, just occasionally loses a couple of 10. So over the stint he has lost about 5 seconds, but in the grand scheme of things that's not a lot of time. There's Zach Duran's car coming back out of the pits, and it's Zach himself that is still at the wheel. We won't do a round with the GT3s quite yet, because there is going to be some pit stops happening. But as Simon said, a lot of these GT4s are going to be trying this on a one stop.
There is a great battle in the GT3s for 4th place, John, if you want to check that.
Oh yeah, Cholukin. He's caught right up on the back. What's that, into Maggots and Beckett's? It is indeed. Ooh, and that's 2 wheels on the dust there. So Juzma was looking good to potentially retake the position from Daly. He's now gone full defend as Cholukin just sneaks his nose up the inside. Doesn't quite get close enough, but certainly Juzma had to take the defensive line there. Once again into club. No, we're not going to see an overtake this time at the club. We've seen plenty of action, although just ahead there's plenty of action going on as Jordan Daly finds himself right.
Absolutely stuck between 2 GT4s there. Oh my word, he's losing so much time.
Wow, breathe in and breathe out. A little bit of contact between the GT3s that all kind of make it through. Cholukin now caught behind the 2 GT4s. So it is phenomenal battling that is going on. That is the FWR Mercedes and one of the Eclipse racing cars. They're just making their way past. It's Terence Keenan, of course. So Terence Keenan just down the order, and the FWR car of Arden Basil actually a lap down on the GT4 car. So he's looking to unlap himself as battle for 3rd, 4th and 5th rages on around him. Cholukin has been dropped off ever so slightly, so there is still a battle going on with the 4th place car, but it's now a battle again for 3rd as Jordan Daly. Definitely did get slowed up there in the Race Ventura car. You can't say Race Ventura without going, alrighty then.
I love you, John. I'm glad. This is why you've been our commentator for so long. There's no one with the enthusiasm and jokes like you.
I will take that as a compliment. Thank you very much.
It's a compliment, it is.
Thank you. Yeah. It's got to be done. Some of these teams, the names just set themselves up, really, don't they? They make it easy. They make it easy. Lorenz certainly making it easy for himself up at the front of the field. See what I did there? Smooth. He is 1 minute 58.507, fastest lap of the race. Does have to do a driver swap, of course, so we are going to see him come into the pits. Himself and Langford have both done the full opening stages. Juzma has done a driver swap. It was Leon Seeley that started out in that car. Daly as well has been racing since the beginning, as too has Luca Tavanari. So he will be handing the reins over as well. So still plenty of drivers to take their place out on track. We've got Kadzalia comfortably leading the way, and it is his team's sister car of Camille Panis, guided by Camille Panis at the moment. Again, he's taking over for Eli Poe, so they've done their driver swaps. Kadzalia does still need to hand the reins over to see. Yeah, got to hand the reins over to someone else. There is. That's the ESR car. ESR team car. Dino Man again. Hi. Oh, and Mr. Death Zone as well. Hi, sorry, I think I jumped in with your conversation. Hello, Mr. Death Zone. Good to see you back in the Steam again. It was also good to get a Steam notification to see you were back on ACC. Do I take that to mean you will be gracing our races with your presence once again, young man?
I hope he knows he's been added to our sprint series like he asked for. So I hope he's turning up on Wednesday.
Oh, well, that'll be wise practicing then. Love to hear it. So he will be back out on track. Hurrah! Taking it to the death zone. Cholukin and Juzma. So Daly, he's got himself back out of this battle, and it's now back to Cholukin and Juzma. 4th and 5th place here. On the exit to Maggots and Beckett. Is he going to try and plant the McLaren around the outside? Aston beautifully on the apex, down into the club. Once again, we can see Cholukin chasing. There's Waizi coming into the pits actually for the Vivid Global Racing Team in 11th place. So we'll see where they come back out. There is a GT4 car just ahead of the battle that we can see. Himself perfectly on the racing line. Juzma right on the inside. That is definitely not where you want to be. Going through this very high-speed corner. The McLaren has a look around the outside, tried something slightly ambitious there and ended up off track. Speaking of off track, there is a BMW.
A wild Aston.
A wild Aston, sorry.
Yeah.
A wild Aston. Oh, that's the NOV2 car.
Piloted by Clark, is it? The 111?
I think it is. Oh, the Aston Martin, yeah, Clark. It is indeed. The NOV2 Motorsport car. There we go. And some more GT4 cars up ahead for Cholukin and the gang to deal with. A lot of GT4 action, actually. A lot of positions there. Cholukin guiding the car through. There is Camelio. Sees his sister car make its way through. And Cholukin got a very good run out the last corner there. This is definitely going to be side by side through turn number 1. Let's go Helicam. Oh, and it wasn't side by side then. Aston Martin definitely getting the run along the straight. Cholukin still pestering for that race win. We do have another dingling in my ear. I should jump to that one. Rosed. M1.
M1 Rosed.
M1 Rosed. Yeah, let's do that. M1 Rosed, thank you very much for the follow. And awful Lutz, there he is there. The man himself. Are you not out on track? No, Ludeman's back out on track. Lutz, the driver on the charge. But yeah, exclamation mark pit wall if anyone does want to keep up with the telemetry. For some reason, the first round of pit stops have disappeared off the telemetry at the moment. You can't get the round number 2. So yeah, jump in and keep up to date, completely up to date with all the action. Again, Cholukin looking for a move around Marcus Juzma's Aston Martin. Not to be into Village this time. He's timed this one a little bit better. Is he going to have a big look on the brakes? Is he going to make the stick? He rotates the car. Oh, opens up the corner. Potentially a bit much, but Juzma's going to try and come back out on... No, he's not. Nope, he's too far back there on the exit onto Wellington, and it is Cholukin now up into 4th position. Juzma into 5th. It's now a 31-second gap then for Ben Langford to Martin Larenk. Very comfortably leading the way, and Matthias Kazelia got a comfortable lead over his teammate Camille Panis. Terence Keenan round and taking the final podium spot for the GT4s at the moment. I made a sad mistake and spun. We were P3. Yeah, I did wonder actually. Yeah, didn't have the best luck in the last race either with that disconnect. Oh, there's Clark comes into the pits for the NOV2 car.
Yeah, we should be seeing a lot of these teams now come in for their final stop. Less than 65 minutes remaining in the race. This is about the time where tanks will almost be empty. And we'll see if there's any more driver changes in these teams. We'll see if Seeley gets back out and swaps back in from Juzma. We know Larenk has got a handover, we know Langford's got a handover, and we know Cholukin's got a handover. So we know Tavernari's got a handover because he's done the first 2 stints of this one. So there's going to be a lot of changes within the top 10 once again. And I mean, it looks to be done and dusted for this race win, doesn't it, John? The 404 is 30 seconds ahead. I mean, they don't have any success penalties to serve this round of stops. It's been fantastic for Wild Things Racing to move up to 2nd place in this race as it is. It was going to be a fantastic podium to walk away with nevertheless, as we'll see if battles resume between Daly, or I guess between the 115.47 and the 324. Not really much to separate those 3 teams for the final podium spot. And just like to point out, if the 324 manages to finish in 3rd place, we'll have joint leaders in this championship with the 404 and the 324.
Oh, nice. That is what we like. That is what we like. I was actually, I'm glad you reminded me that. I was at some point a couple of hours ago going to go over the championship calendar for all the action. Oh, there's Juzma coming at the pits. There is Juzma coming at the pits, as Simon wisely pointed out. All the drivers are going to have to come in. And hour left to go. That's pretty much bang on time, so we'll see if he does in fact change or double stints. There is Laurent Reader. But yeah, for the rest of the season, we've got Donington Park, Snetterton, then of course Spa, which is easily the best track in Belgium. And then we've got Brands Hatch and Donington.
Hey. Yes, just like the real life, John, Donington decided to end the calendar. Drive through the track limits. Who is that? A GT4, I suspect.
Josh Barrett it is for the GT Marquee team. They'd actually made their way up a few positions as well. They ended up down at the back of the grid, but back up 3 positions. But that drive-through is going to be very, very costly indeed. In the background is one of the Vivid Global Racing cars.
I noticed the Triple Eight machine is up to 5th. Chris a bit behind the wheel. He's only 7 seconds adrift now of 4th place in the GT4s. So he's going to definitely be closing that gap onto the podium positions.
Brett in the pits, Morant back out behind the wheel, Simon.
Yep, that'll be the final stop, done and dusted for, pardon me, for SOP Esports, the number 7 machine. Not the round I think they would have expected after taking pole position.
Yeah, fairly safe to say that one. Leon Seeley has taken over from
Marcus Juzma.
Marcus Juzma, thank you very much. Quickly had to clear my throat there. Crypto Aces, hello, how are you doing? Welcome in, welcome in. Good afternoon, good to see you. Let's change to there. Let's put that there. Boom, there we go. Sorry, everything just popped up at once. There we go. How is car 112 doing? 112. Rafael Kanaka from the Sbanala team. Currently running in 4th place in class. He does have Chris Severt behind him. This car was expected to win the GT4 class here today. Very quick in qualifying, just didn't get the lap set. We're on for a pole position, but at the moment, the Sbanala car is currently running in 4th place in class. 1 hour to go. There's Barrett coming in to serve that drive-through. Jordan Daly still running in 3rd place. That's that drive-through clean. Chalukin in 4th, Filipiak in 5th, Tavanari back into 6th position. As we were saying, a lot of driver swaps still to come. Snalsgaard there in 7th, Rollins in 8th, Ludeman in 9th, and Leon Seeley just making his way past the GT4s. He's in 10th place at the moment, but again, this is all going to change when the final final pit stops.
Taking twisted there, John.
Seriously, there's just been too much action going on. It's been phenomenal stuff. Like I say, right from the qualifying right through the racing just now. It's been incredible stuff. So there's Leon. Yeah, positions are all going to change because we're right in the middle of the final pit stop phase. None of the GT3 cars in there at the moment. Christoph Verstappen well down the order as well. He's carrying a bit of damage on that GT4s. These things are generally tanks, so it does take a lot of damage to start slowing them down. But you can see a clear bit of separation between the bonnet and the front bumper there as he runs just a bit wide. They were running in 2nd place for quite some time in the GT4 class. They find themselves on the verge dropping outside the top 10. There's Basil coming into the pits, in fact, for Team FWR. Is he going to come back out, or will he swap over? We will see. Ben Langford, hi, I said 2 seconds ago, none of the GT3s in the pits. There's Snalsgaard and Filipiak both straight into the pits. So Tavanari promoted a position or two at the moment, as Filipiak and Snalsgaard come in to take their... Oh, he's gone sideways. What a save. Tavanari really pushing the limits on those tyres there. Let's just have a little super save appreciation moment. Yeah, so just on the way out of Magus and Beckett's who joint on the way to Stowe. Coming down towards Club. Wow. So not only looking to get the fastest lap, also looking to get the highest number of Need for Speed drift points as well. And I can confirm he did get the back tyres very close to the white line, so he did get a ×2 bonus multiplier. And pretty much a standing ovation. What a phenomenal save. That was. Ransbar's come into the pits as well. Larenk is still out there, but there's Ransbar coming in to take his pits. As I said, the running order is going to change massively through the GT3 field over the next few laps. I guess he lost. Oh, he's really struggling with the back of that car. He must have really lit up those back tyres, as we can see on the way into the pits. Look at it again. And he just, yeah, make sure he slowed right down there. Kieran Clifford, what a save. Kieran, you drive the Porsche. You can appreciate that was full. I mean, was that save? Was that I'm just having a little slide to try and find half a second? Let's look at Tavanari. Anything is possible. Thomas Morant's back out on track. He was, in fact, is he ahead? He is ahead of Gleebles. So he's got that overtake done. That is the exit to Maggots and Beckett's. He was probably bored. Oh, number 37, but the GT4 car's out as well. Ah, no. Oh, Gleeble's just running a bit deep there, and Morant says, thank you very much. That's all the invitation I need to take a run into Club, although the Aston did manage to stay in front, so Morant still had work to do on the exit at Club. He did manage to plant it up the inside, gets a great run on the Hamilton straight, and holds on and takes that position. Phenomenal driving from Thomas Morant behind the wheel of that Porsche. There is Jan Barth out on track as well. Both our bananas are out. Ah, that's a nightmare, Tony. So the Rookie Monster GT4s not surviving the race. Ben Langford for... Oh, Ludeman's got a drive-through for track limits. Oh, wow. Never mind the pit stops changing everything. The race is going to change the running order. Never mind anything else. Gleebles is in the pits for his final pit stop. So is Langford. In from second place, Chulukin. Every time you look in on Chulukin, he's always involved in some overtaking action. And at this point, it is Daly that he's trying to get his way past. I do know what
in the pits as well for Driscoll in the 59.
Who's doing what now? Oh, Driscoll, yeah. Oh, sorry, so I missed that. What was that first time? Track limits or... Oh, damage.
Oh, it might have been... I thought it was speeding in the pit lane, but it might have been... Yeah, drive through for track limits then. If you're still out there on track. It's nowhere near the pits, so it must have been.
Yeah, that is a lot of damage he's carrying. I'm sure he has just taken a pit stop as well. Let me just...
Can you get the replay on him, or is it too late?
Too late. Oh, it'll come up in a second. What number is he? Car 59. When he crosses the line, it'll come up and say at the bottom what it was for. Car number 59. Yeah, it looks like there has been an off-track incident, so yeah, he's going to come straight into the pits here to get that fixed. That's the GT4, but yeah, straight in.
John, I'm heading to the steward's room because there's another 4 incident tickets to look over.
Okay, have fun. We'll expect a full report when you get back. And we will see you very soon, Simon. So there goes Simon. He's off to the steward's office. Hazel Horman back out for Vivid Global Racing. He, of course, took the opening stints for the car. Ekman in the pits as well. We'll see if he comes back out. Ludeman with this penalty to serve. Will he come in on this lap? If he doesn't, we will see. Oh, big wiggle. God, excuse me. Unbelievably dusty in here, and I am pretty much an old man. James Rollins into the pits, Leon Seeley all over the back of Rosenthal, and you can see just how close into turn number 1 into Maggots and Beckett's. Oh, a little bit on the grass. There goes the Spinella GT4. The McLaren completely outpaced then by Seeley into Maggots and Beckett's, and Seeley. Oh, and even I breathed in there. That almost looked, that came very close to contact there, but Seeley goes flying through him with Rollins in the pits. That is 2 positions that Leon Seeley will jump up the board. So that's him up to 4th place. There is Simon rejoining us from the stewards box just in time to see one of his team members take 2 positions and get himself back up to 4th. Simon, Leon Seeley dragging himself right back into the hunt, with Daly still to pit, could potentially be back on for 3rd place, can't confirm. Richard Pixley's taken over for Ben Langford in the Wild Things Racing team, and he is just as speedy, quick, fast as the driver he took over from. So the Wild Things Racing, no surprise really considering the team that he races for. So the Wild Things Racing definitely looking good for a podium. And the lead car in the GT3s, they've been in and out of the pits, and it is still a simulation 1-2, and it is still Kaczynski and Kadzelia leading the way over Panis and Pole, with Terence Keenan in 3rd place, and Chris Severt is up to 4th after we saw Rafael Kaneker for the Spinella team get themselves a drive-through for track limit, Simon. So yeah, in the short time you were gone, it's been busy. How did you get on in the steward's office?
Yeah, busy in the steward's office as well. Just handing out some penalties myself, and there's some extra stewards on board for the final hour to help me out as well. So you should see some extra penalties being applied from the extra stewards, just going over some instant reports whilst I can join you in the commentary box.
Excellent. And speaking of in the box, it's into the pit box for Martin Larenc. How smooth are my links today, by the way? After 2 years, pats himself on the back for being semi-professional for 5 seconds. Well done. But it is Martin Larenc comes into the pit. 67 laps he's got under his belt. Only the 2 hours and 16 minutes driving so far. He will hand over the reins of the car. We can see the Beeson McLaren in the background there. The GT4 just courting a touch damage on the front. It is, here we go again, the Race Ventura. Alrighty then, in 2nd position with Pixley in 3rd still, and Leon Seeley in 4th. You would expect Pixley and Seeley to overtake Daly when Daly comes in to take his final pit stop. Doesn't take it now though, as Martin Larenc is handed over to Tom Bryant. He will close out the proceedings. Let's have a look and see just how much of a gap he's got over Daly. I don't think it's quite the full 63 seconds that the telemetry is showing, so we'll let that update through sector number 1. Any second now it should do, but certainly Bryant and Laurent certainly phenomenal performance in the opening stints. He's fended off all comers. He's got the fastest lap under his belt, and he's given his teammate the lead of the race to bring it home with only 43 minutes to do.
Yeah, we just saw a GT4 into the pits as well, the number 40, piloted by Keenan, the Clips Racing team. They've dropped back down to 8th place from 3rd in the race with that stop. So I'm not sure that's going to be their final finishing position, but like I said, the cars that only had to do 1 stop, Chris Severt to the 888, they're on the podium from last place. A fantastic recovery drive from Danny Baisden and Chris Severt in this one so far. And I'm really not entirely sure if the 2 leading simulation esports cars need to come in or not. If we know that information, then it would better serve us in the commentary booth to know if Chris Severt has a chance of taking overall victory in this race. He needs to be less, well he is, there we go. There's the delta, 44 seconds to the lead pair. We'll see if they need to make another stop. if they do, they're going to come out behind Chris Bird, right? They got to make 75 seconds in a pit stop.
Yeah, you're looking somewhere along those lines. Yeah, 1 minute 8, so 60, 65, 70 seconds. Ludeman back in the pits.
Some real issues on the 21 machine again for the second round in a row.
Yeah, indeed, yeah. Because, in fact, Lutz was in the chats as well. Yeah, he made a mistake and spun from P3, so he did make a bit of a mistake. So yeah, so that's dropped in there. I can't see anything else in the chat, but yeah, Ludeman back into the pits there then. So that's going to drop them right down the order once again. So it's all really about these final pit stops or the final pit stop for Jordan Daly then. Where is it going to bring him back out? The GT4s. As you mentioned, Simon, Keenan down in 8th at the minute, but potentially his finishing position. He's already all over the back of Zolotta there. And on the exit from Village onto Wellington Straight, he's right under the rear spoiler. Of course, slipstream not quite as pronounced in these cars as it is in their GT3 brethren. Up the inside, has a look on. Yeah, not much defence there from Zolotarev. So Keenan back up another position. How many positions can he make up? We're certainly going to find out over the next 40 minutes. Chris Severt, as Simon mentioned, these drivers with the one-stop strategy have certainly massively benefited. As Barrett comes into the pits in the GT4s. And Severt is all over the back of Camille Panis. In fact, no, he's not. I should have known that wasn't it was a Mercedes, but it's not a Simulation Esports livery. That is one of the FWR cars, sorry, how can I get that livery mixed up? That is Arden Basel. Just being that. And there is Thomas Morant just making his way through as well, just to keep it extra spicy all the way through. We've got Thomas Morant. He's trying to catch up to the back of Osterscharth. It's going to be a big... It's a tall order, but certainly doable. 8 seconds is the gap there, and he is about 8/10, a lap quicker than Osterscharth at the moment. So yeah, if he can sneak 10 laps in, which is definitely time to do, then he could be close. Another car we used to see up at the front, Shu Wilspin. He's just behind Sven Corving. This car, as I say, we're expecting these drivers, Zach Duran and the gang, to be up near the front end of the grid, certainly. Oh, and the Porsche, making that one look very easy up the inside onto the Wellington Straight, and it is Wilspin in a drag race. He's got a lot of action up ahead of him into the final few corners. And that is the Vivid Global Racing team behind them as well. So that is, they've actually been lapped in, or unlapped. I think Wilspin's actually just unlapped himself here. And in fact, yes, he has. That's why he's in 9th place. But Wilspin getting that position done. And there is confirmation of that. There's Baggett coming into the pits for the Ardennes Racing team. 38 minutes left to go, and Matt Bunyan still looking to improve on his position as well. There he is there. It is Porsche versus McLaren, Vivid Global versus SOP here. And it is the Porsche through turn number 1 that's doing the chase in into Maggots and Beckett. Still looking very quick indeed. As you can see, oh, he's moved right over there, closed the door, just takes the defensive move right at the last second. It could have unsettled his car massively into Maggots and Beckett. He does manage to control it though, so does Bunyan, though on the exit, slight sideways motion by the McLaren, hence that kick up of dust off the grass there. Towards Stowe and into the club chicane once again. We're going to see some side-by-side action. As we can see, Bunyan just opens up the corner, gets a nice tight apex, gets the foot down nice and early over the left-hand curbs, down into club. No side-by-side this time. Over exuberance from the commentator, misplaced on this occasion, but onto the Hamilton Straight again. Why easy using every millimetre of the track and kicking up some dust from the track edge, and definitely doesn't want to do that too often along the Hamilton straight. Through the fast right-hander. Oh, and again, just kicking up some dirt on that right-hand side into the Village complex. It is Bunyan doing all the chasing at the moment. Daly and Bryant only separated by 6 seconds, 36 seconds separate first and second overall. Leon Seeley, that's the gap we're waiting to see next then. How far behind the Wild Things racing car is he? He's already got a 4.6 second gap back to Rosenthal, so he hasn't wasted any time since getting back behind the wheel of the Aston Martin, and he is definitely in the hunt for a podium. 29 seconds. Oh, that's actually going to be really close. That gap's just changed. But yeah, quick bit of math says it's going to be really close between Daly and Seeley when Daly comes out of the pits. Bunyan shrugging off. A bit of slipstream there into turn number 1. Doesn't want to be carrying too much speed and get himself a drive-through penalty at this late stage in the race. We've seen that cause havoc for a couple of drivers, Adam Basil being one of them. He's now down at the back of the field for the GT4s, as well as Rafael Karnica for the Spinala team. He was on the verge of a top 4 finish. He's now looking at 7th position with Terence Keening absolutely hunting him down. Keenan was known to be very quick. He took his final pit stop from a 3rd position on track in the GT4s. Found himself down the order, but as Simon pointed out, with the pace that he's showing, definitely could be good for a couple of overtakes, that is for sure. So we'll keep an eye on his progress over the closing stages. Waizi just coming up to the back of the Team Black Snow car, and it looks like it's Mark Bunyan going to capitalise. Can he get round the outside? Oh, that's a brave place to go side by side, but he does make it stick. He's got his nose just in front into the Village complex, or does he? It's Waizi on the defensive on the inside line. Will he go for the cut back? No, Waizi puts the McLaren exactly where he needs to. Mark Bunyan still chasing, trying to get this position taken, then onto the Wellington straight, lap number 71. And we've had non-stop battles all the way through 3 hours and 26 minutes of racing with 34 minutes left to go. Yeah, I'm probably genuinely nervous about how much we're going to be able to see. They still can't get a proper read on the gap between Pixley and Seeley. Saying 29 seconds, that would put him 59. In fact, 64 seconds behind Daly, which means he would be 4 seconds ahead of Daly if Daly had an absolute perfect pit stop. There is Chris Severt, who's on the podium into turn number 1. Oh, just jiggling himself out of the way there, and that is Marcus Juzma's invitation to say thank you very much. To go side by side into Magus and Beckett. There's Daly coming into the pits, and there is the Porsche. Ooh, a little bit of contact, and that has sent the Porsche sideways. He's off track, and it's going to be a struggle to get that one righted again. Quick 360, so slight contact there, and Waizi cruises on. Jordan Daly does come into the pits though. There is Pixley just coming through the last corner, so that just goes to show you how quick they are. Bunyan in 10th was just going through Maggots and Beckett's there. And there is Pixley in 2nd. Just coming through Maggots and Beckett's himself. Is that correct? Yes, it is. And he does have a big gap over Seeley. There's Daly coming into the pit. So yeah, high drama there, Simon, for Bunyan and Waizi. But now that Daly's into the pits, we're going to get a decent idea how the podium is going to lie. Pixie's already passed. It looks like Daly, Seeley. Oh, he's literally, look how close they are, Simon. There is Daly's car right behind Seeley as he comes out of the pits. So it's Ted Edwards at the wheel once again. Podium positions, grandstand finish. Go Team SOP.
Yeah, it is going to be a grandstand finish, right? 30 minutes left on the clock. I mean, again, the 404, they're away and gone in this one. They're not going to be challenged for the victory. Pixley looks to be set in 2nd place as well. and then it is a battle for that podium position, some 30 seconds away from the top two between Seeley and Edwards, who takes over the wheel of the race venture. I'll tone it down, John. I'm not very good with impersonation, so I won't try and do an Ace Ventura. Yeah, Seeley and Edwards, they're going to do battle for the final podium position in the final 30 minutes of this race. Just a bit further back is Rosenthal in the 47th car. That's, oh yeah, lovely. Thanks for that information, John. And yeah, so we're going autopilot whilst John makes his own pit stop, and we're riding on board with Richard Pixley, who takes over the Wildings Racing Aston Martin. They're up in the second place, a very well cemented second place, it has to be said. They've had a fantastically well-rounded race, kept it clean, kept out of incidents, put in the consistent laps, and I mean, again, I still don't know how Lorenk was able to pull a gap on the rest of the GT field, as well as serve that success penalty in the pit stops. But they motor on some 30 seconds ahead of everybody else, as Ludeman is just off the top 10 now. They were running inside the top 5, challenging for a podium themselves until issues on board Lutz, and he had to come in and swap over to Ludeman. So yeah, just outside the top 10 for the 21. And then once again, we've got Vivid Global Racing in the 70 and 71 machine, running 8th and 9th. They were basically inseparable at Alton Park as well. So yeah, again, a fantastic showing by Vivid Global Racing to both be inside the top 10. As we ride on board with Keenan, he's slowly making his way back up through the field, just dispatched Kanicha in the 112 Porsche, as that is 6th place for Eclipse Racing Team. The top 3 still unchanged: Kaczynski and Panis and Subvert. The 2 Simulation Esports machines leading the way in the GT4 class, as we ride on board the rear wing of Horman, who's just overtaken, I believe it's Matt Camelio in the GT4s. In 8th place is Horman, Vivid Global Racing, having a brilliant showing. They are some 15 seconds adrift of Thomas Morant, as we see the flames spitting out the back of that McLaren. Fantastic shot. As we're now back on board with Morant, we're back on board with Horman.
Yep.
And we're back on board with John.
Hello.
He's made his own pit stop of his own.
Indeed he has. Record time. We've got Tom Bryant then. As Simon mentioned, I take it you just did a quick rundown there.
Pretty much a rundown with the GT3s and GT4s, yeah.
Yeah, Kaczynski and Panis. So it's a great one too for Team Simulation Esports. They've got themselves first and second. Amazing drive though by Chris Severt and Danny Baisden.
Can you see when the Simulation Esports made their pit stops, John? Or does it not give you that information if they made it within, like, you know, the first hour or so and they need to make another stop? Because unless they're literally just that fast and they are 40 seconds adrift of the next podium position with Christopher taking that spot, and they don't need to make another stop. That'd be very interesting to find out.
Yeah. What happened to Ulrich?
Yeah, so Ulrich, he was in the number 41, right? He passed it
Correct.
over to Verstappen.
Oh, Verstappen, yeah, in 23rd, right. They're still showing as...
Yeah, they're in 5th. Yeah, they're in 5th place now. They were on the podium positions until they picked up that damage from the 92.
Yeah, an hour and 15, so Kadzelia's first pit was after an hour and 15 minutes. Ulrich, hour and 15 minutes.
Interesting. I don't think you can get an hour and 45 minutes out of these GT4s. So maybe the top 2 still need to come into the pits once again. It might be that, I'm guessing at this point, they're not going to come in for tyres. So if they are coming in for a pit stop, it's going to be for a splash and dash. That means they're only going to be in their pit box for less than 5 seconds. And it's going to be mighty tight then if that is the case between Kaczynski, Panis and Savert and the race winning GT4s. Because Savert is only 40 seconds to drift. And if you're half in a pit stop, it's going to be around 35 seconds for both simulation drivers. That's going to be a mighty close battle right at the end of this race for the GT4 win. That's going to be fantastic.
Yes, it really is. Yeah, we've got Meth in the race in the chat. Number 69, 1 stop. Number 4, 2 stops. Okay. So Kaczynski is on for 1 stop, and Panis for the 2 stop.
So Panis needs to come in again. Is that correct? The 69's going to the end of the race.
Oh, other way around.
Other way around. Okay, so yeah, the 69 doesn't need to stop again, but the number 4 does. Yeah, the number 4 needs to come in again.
I think the so I think the number 4 has had 2 stops actually, because now I'm looking at this. Yeah, pit wall lied. I don't know if because I've opened it and closed it.
Right.
It's having a bit
Never
of
mind.
It. I know, but it's yeah, pole. Yeah, they have pitted twice. From Kaczynski. Yeah, the driver changes aren't showing up properly for me, so that telemetry is all over the place. But let's get back to what we do know on track. Oh, there is Bunyan. Just making his way past Camille Panis that we were talking about. That, of course, much further up at the front of the field. It's just inside the top 10 there in 10th. Waizi in 9th. Horman in 8th. But ranked back up to 7th. He's 1.9 behind Osterscharsch. So he has closed up there. He was the second lap quicker on that last lap. Rosenthal for the F1 Memes team currently in 5th place, with Edwards just ahead of him. In 4th place, the top 3 though. Leon Seeley, you can see Leon and there's Edwards there just in the foreground. So Seeley has closed in, then he's found 2 seconds on Pixley in the last couple of laps, but you would feel that's going to be too little too late. In fact, on the last lap, Pixley was in fact a 10th quicker on the last lap. Sorry, Seeley was a 10th quicker and 3/10 quicker than Bright, so yeah, making their way through the traffic as well. Certainly still an interesting challenge for the drivers. It has been for the first 2 hours and 37 minutes, and it's going to be for the next 23 as well. Morant already on the back of Osterscharsch, looking to get himself up into 6th position. So a great comeback drive then from Thomas. Oh, the back of that Porsche almost letting go there, so close to the edge. Simon was saying the Porsche more than capable of getting the job done in qualifying, but really struggling in race trim. We've got 2 inside the top 10. That just goes to show you the difference between the pace, the pace between quali and actually getting the job done in the race. But at the moment, Morant's certainly looking like he's going to get the job done against Osterscharsch, the BMW. In full defend mode once again as we come out of the final corner. Runs a bit wide. It's a good apex then for Morant. He's going to have a good run out of the last corner, but the BMW absolutely flies out of that last corner. Into turn 1 again. Start of lap number 78. Oh, sorry, 77. Morant again gets a nice, neat apex. The BMW really using as much of the track on the corner exit as possible. And that just ahead, that's a GT4 car. Oh, and there Thomas Morant. Oh, there. And that is, I think that's the car. Is that who we've just seen? They get a drive-through penalty. Oh no, it wasn't. It was Team FWR. Another drive-through for track limits being handed out. It's Basil receiving this one. Ludeman getting very close to Matt Bunyan. So the number 21 Porsche looking to get himself back inside the top 10 after that extra trip into the pits as well. And just ahead, Thomas Morant still trying to find his way past Osterschars, the GT4 traffic saving the simulation driver on the previous lap. How much longer can he hold off? Let's see if Ludeman is going to get that overtake done. There he is there. Porsche on Porsche action for the final position inside the top 10. And yeah, at the minute, Bunyan's car's fastest lap 59.4. Went into Stowe. Into Club. I was going to read out some lap times there, but there might be an overtake before it even get that far. Nope. Not quite. Through these corners here. Morant, which one's going to get the overtake done first? Is Morant going to get his way past Osterschars? Or is Ludeman going to get a move done on Bunyan? That's more GT4 traffic you can see there. Oh, 3 wide round the outside into the village complex. Ludeman, oh, heavy on the brakes there. How did he get that rotated? Really using every single bit of grip he could from the post there. It doesn't do him any good though. Bunyan does hold on to that position on the Wellington straight, but Ludeman will be in that slipstream. They've got identical cars. That's called a reminder there. Car 445 got to serve that drive-through for track limits. 2 laps left to do so. With 20 minutes left on the clock. Through the last corner to finish lap 79. And somebody jumped to 79 from 77. Ludeman still chasing Bunyan then, still chasing the position inside the top 10. Can we get it done? Hey, Dal King, how we doing, bud? Come on, Lutz and Ludeman, says Ryan Bridgman. They've had some bad luck, to say the least, in the opening 2 races, but certainly, undeniably, one of the quicker teams in the competition. Certainly these 2 drivers paired together, and he's all over the back of Bunyan. Porsche on Porsche action. They couldn't get it. They got it done in qualifying. Haven't quite been able to get it done in race trim. At least they're certainly getting it done overtaking wise on the track. Bunyan in full defend mode. Ludeman looking to salvage as many points as they can after that drive-through for track limits. Thomas Morant. Not to be outdone, he's got himself right onto the back of Osterschars once again. And yeah, Simon, these 2 battles, Ludeman and Bunyan, both involving Porsches. So at the start of the race, they didn't really do too great, but certainly fighting for Porsche honour at the moment as Morant and Ludeman both looking to get late overtakes done.
Yeah, fantastic racing. I mean, just off camera, Bunyan was involved in a small incident with Wazy. I think the stewards are just discussing it now. I think it's been deemed as a racing incident at the minute, but it's still to be finalised, and that's why he's 2 seconds adrift of Wazy. Yeah, but that's why it's brought Ludeman into the battle against Bunyan as well. So yeah, it's a fantastic race in the final stages of this race for the final positions inside the top 10.
Indeed it is, and I've just brought up a replay of Ludeman getting the overtake done on Bunyan. I think I might have jumped back a bit far, but into the club chicane and exiting on to the Hamilton straight. It looks like this could be where the job got done. Oh yeah, oh, just pulls out of the way the GT4, loses a lot of momentum, and Ludeman manages to thread the needle and sneak the car all the way through. So that is 10th position once again for Team FWR. Thomas Morant still behind Osterschars then. almost going sideways there. How do they get away with that? I could not do that lap after lap, yet consistently he's managed to let the back of that Porsche step out ever so slightly, controls it and saves it on the way into village. Yeah, they're a different breed, some of these drivers up at the front. Speaking of different breed, Tom Bryant, the Connection Lost Racing 404 car, absolutely flying 80 laps in. He was handed the car in the perfect position by a phenomenal opening couple of stints by his teammate, and it's Tom Bryant that is chasing this victory, and he's got both hands on the prize already. 16 minutes left to go. He's got a 40-second gap, that's why I was stalling there, to Richard Pixley in third place, and he's got a nice big gap back to Leon Seeley. Leon has closed it up a bit, with the two of them lapping almost equilibriously. In fact, bang on 1 second, Leon was quicker on that last lap, but 16 minutes left to go, maybe about 8 laps left. Oh, and in fact, Ludeman, he's not long done with Bunyan. He's already on the back of Alex Waizi for the Vivid Global Racing team. Looking for another quick position then, already 10th. Is he getting a single-digit finish? It's certainly looking that way. He's all over the back of that McLaren already, and they've got some GT4s ahead of them. Chris Sever into the pit, Simon.
Didn't expect that one, yes. I'm not sure what happened there. Maybe they did run out of fuel. Maybe they didn't...
Carrying a bit of damage there as well by the look of it.
Yeah, maybe they picked up damage that they needed repairing, I'm not too sure. I know they came into the pitch just shy of the 90-minute mark. Maybe the Ginetta just takes on a bit more fuel than the Porsche, because I know one of the Porsche teams could do 90 minutes on a full tank of gas. So yeah, maybe the Ginetta wasn't up to the task like the Porsches were, and that's why they're now dropping back down the order. Unfortunately, I thought they were in prime position to take a podium from last place. That would have been fantastic to see, but not going to happen with 15 minutes remaining now.
That one's on, there we go. Top 10 after my amazing spin and losing podium. Listen, well inside the top 10 as well, Mr. Lutz. You've got your teammate Alex. He's just got himself, as I was looking off screen, he got that overtake done there. Let's get another look at it from Helicam if we can. So into club once again. We've seen a lot of action taking place here. Oh, he just went right round the outside. Wow. These Porsches can really pull off some phenomenal moves. So yeah, back up to 9th position then. So great comeback drive there. And yeah, Ludeman getting the job done. Bryant first, Pixley in second, Leon Seeley in third place. Morant still trying to get his way past Osterschars. 13 minutes left to do so. And in the GT4s, very much as you were, Kaczynski, Panis and Verstraeten. Also, Verstraeten is back out in second position, and that was just the way the pit stops. I was wondering why he was so far down the order, but he is back into third place, carrying a bit of damage there. But yeah, he must have just taken his pit stop. Kanika right on the back of Chris Sever then. So two drivers, one served a drive-through penalty, one started from the back and took an extra pit stop, side by side through turn number 1 into Maggots and Beckett's. Kanika doing all the chasing then. This what is this for? 7th place?
Sixth
yes,
place. Yeah,
so 6th place. Yeah, so it is. Yeah, Chris Sever in 6th place. Kanika in that 7th, right on that rear spoiler. How is Thomas Morant getting on? Yeah, that's 25th. Thomas Morant. Well, as we can see, he's signalling his intent at every possible opportunity into the final corner. Full defence mode for the BMW. Morant is going to try and have a look up the inside potentially. He's going to have a bit of slipstream along the start-finish straight. Kind of get side by side into turn number 1. Both of them mounting that curve. There is a Simulation Esports GT4 car just ahead of them. That shouldn't be an issue until they get to Maggots and Beckett's. Although Oh, well, shows just what I know and just how much quicker the GT3 cars are on into Magnussen Beckett's. The GT4 car got caught up into turn number 1. It bunched these two up together. Oh, the BMW really threw that in there. How did he manage to hold that on the grass on the inside? He did manage to maintain control of that car through there. I'm not sure it was the best on his tyres or for his overall momentum. As you can see, Morant still glued to the back of that car. As we come towards Stowe once again, it's going to be all guns blazing into Club. Morant in the Porsche, really piling on the pressure in the closing stages. And we'll see Kanika. Oh, I thought he got in front, but not the GT4. Oh, Kanika's run a bit wide in the penultimate corner. And that's given a little bit of breathing space to Chris Evert, still hanging on to that position. Let's see, where has Morant gone? There he is there, still chasing that BMW. So two very good battles to watch right into the end. Brian Pixley and Seeley, they've certainly sealed their positions on the podium. I'm sorry, that was terrible.
You're on fire today, John.
The dad jokes are coming thick and fast. Oh, and that's not gone well. And how did they manage to hold that? And what a save that was. And it is Thomas Morant that takes the position. But let's just look at the hard work that has to be put in there. Get on the helmet cam, please. Thank you very much. So coming into the Village Complex, GT4 car. Again, the replay isn't showing. Why is that not showing Thomas Morant's car? Couldn't have been that close, surely. Oh yeah, he was. That's how close he was. We couldn't see him that whole time, and then he pops out the front. Great save by Osterschars, and it is Thomas Morant up to 6th position then. 3.8 seconds he's got ahead to Rosenthal. Can he potentially catch up there? That is a really big ask if we're being fair.
It is only 3 seconds. I mean, if he's half a second a lap faster with 10 minutes to go, he'll be there at the end. He's only 3.8 seconds off Rosenthal. Not too far. Yeah. I mean, you got to look at how this race has unfolded as well. The number 7 machine with Peter Brett and Thomas Morant, they had the most success penalty, the biggest success penalty to take in their pit stop as well. So if you think that they would be 20 seconds further up the field without that, and they would be potentially up into 4th place ahead of Rosenthal and Edwards right now. And then I guess the same for Seeley and Bryant in the 324 and the 404. They had a 10-second and 15-second success penalty to be taken in their pit stop. I mean, the drive of the day has to go to the 404. They had a 10-second penalty for finishing 3rd at round number 1. They were able to capitalise on everything else going on around them. They're 45 seconds ahead of the field, the entire field. It's just been absolutely fantastic by the 404. It's going to be really interesting to see going into round number 3. They're going to be the ones now that have got to take the bigger success penalty. And the race is going to be of a shorter distance, so it's going to hit them even harder trying to make their way back up through the field.
Yeah, that's right, yeah, because the next round is a 2-hour race. Yeah,
that's right, yeah.
Yeah, 120 minutes, so yeah, it's going to be an hour shorter, so like you say, that penalty is going to seem, or be a lot bigger. Delusional Khan, thank you very much for the follow. Welcome in. We're in the closing stages. It is the last 8 minutes of a 3-hour race. It's been an absolute cracker. Make sure you go back and watch the VOD. Oh, that's me typing in the wrong place. The qualifying alone was absolutely phenomenal, right down to the wire. If you are a racer yourself, you can get involved. Jump onto the Discord. That's the quickest way to get all the links to the social, keep up to date with everything we've got going on. And there's a link to the live telemetry on Pit Wall Live. Tripping over my own words, there's been that much excitement. Osterschars all over the back of Morant. So Morant managing to get in front, but not showing a clean pair of heels by any means. As Osterschars coming straight back through Club once again. looking to get back up into 6th. Brian Pixley and Seeley still leading the way in the GT3s. Kaczynski, Pranis and Verstappen still leading the way in the GT4s. And the podium positions definitely look decided, barring some kind of undivine intervention. There's Gray Ekman, 13th, 14th and 15th for Wilspin, Corving and Gardner, 16th and 17th. Oh, Osterschar really is looking for a way past there. That might have cost himself a bit of time, especially when he got battling GT4s just up ahead. That could have played right into his hands there. But as the Porsche gets an absolute flyer along the Wellington straight, gets plenty of room up the inside. The BMW getting himself involved there as well. Oh, and he just casually swings that one round. The GT4s and a GT3 Porsche, in fact, just getting out the way there as well. That is, oh, Golshian. Yeah, got caught up in an incident on the first lap, currently running at the back of the GT3 pack. There is Jose Harman, and in fact Matt Bunyan as well is getting very close to Waizi. This is 6 minutes left to go. It does look like we're going to get treated to a couple of potential late overtakes. Certainly battles. You can see Bunyan in the Porsche all over the back of the McLaren, positions himself on that inside lane. Though he doesn't, he takes himself in and out of the slipstream, out and back in again into the final couple of corners. Just going to come past the pit entrance onto the start-finish straight, and it's the Porsche hunting down the McLaren. Can he get that one done before the end of the race? Osterschar certainly dropping off now. Morant managing to get a bit of a clean getaway at the moment. 5 minutes left to go. What do we reckon, Simon? What would you rather be in with 5 minutes left to go, the Porsche or the McLaren?
I'd rather be the hunter at this stage of the race.
Yeah.
And the 405 does seem to be the racier of the two cars in the final stages. Now it's obviously burnt off all that fuel. We know how fast the Porsches are in qualifying spec. There was 3 Porsches inside the top 5 at the end of qualifying. They all dropped down slightly in the race, but these final 5 minutes will be the Porsche's strength here. And I mean, Bunyan already tried to make a move on Wazy about 10 to 15 minutes ago. It was deemed a racing incident. Bunyan's been able to close all that gap back up, and he's ready for round 2 in the final stages of this race to secure a top 10 finish.
Yeah, it's certainly been a battle right the way through the race for most of the cars. But SOP Esports and Vivid Global Racing, seconds out, round number 2. The final position inside the top 10 up for grabs. Morant has closed right in on Rosenthal. 1.9 seconds he's got to Rosenthal. 4 minutes left to go. So he's certainly doing his best to make it a grandstand finish there and capture himself another position and another couple of extra points. But at the minute on the Wellington straight, it is Bunyan versus Waizi. I thought he'd done exactly the same. I thought he popped out to have a look up the inside, but he didn't. Just seeing if he could force a defensive move from the McLaren up to B. Gets a good exit though. So does the McLaren, to be fair. So he gets a great takeaway there. Bunyan still chasing him down. Mirka Shikras out for Iran Racing Team. He's taken over from Mustafa Ranjbar, who was driving that car in the opening couple of stints. So Shikras making an appearance as well. Bunyan through Maggots and Beckett, still applying that pressure. Seeley has closed in on Pixley. 17 seconds is now the gap, so it has reduced. Morant has lost 4 tenths to Rosenthal in the last couple of sectors. That got back up to 2.2 seconds. So he really does have his work cut out for him now if he's going to catch up and get that position in the closing stages. Might just be a bit too much of an ask again. Bunyan having a look at the inside, signalling his intent, but no place to get the overtake done at the moment. Just not quite carrying the pace. The global car doing exactly what he needs to. I believe that is Camille Panis. They've just come up behind. It is indeed. There we can see second place in the GT4s, just letting that battle very quickly through along the Hamilton Straight. Big deep breaths in by all concerned. And on the way into the village as Panis lets these two through very quickly indeed. And they do continue this battle. SOP versus Vivid, McLaren versus Porsche. Onto the Wellington Straight. Bunyan gets the power down well, but the McLaren again in that early acceleration, getting the gap he needs so as not to give up enough slipstream to let Bunyan close back in the braking zone, although he does on that one. Has he run a bit deep? I think he has outbraked himself. Just hangs on to the edge of the track. He's going to run wide on the final corner. Can he pull it back round on the apex? No, he can't. That is definitely not what he needed with 1.5 minutes left to go. Waizi certainly soaking up the pressure and hanging on to that position. He's got Matt Camelio just ahead of him in the GT4. Ooh, and that's a little bit of contact there, and that has put Camelio off the track. And I tell you what, his teammate did very well to avoid that there, if I am not mistaken. Let's just see this from Bunyan's point of view then. So along the start finish straight, on the penultimate lap, I believe it is as well. So we see he comes down the last corner. So he was a little bit further back, but yeah. Oh, yep, there we go. A bit of hesitation there. He did lift slightly and did well to avoid that contact there. He is now chasing down Waizi once again. The leader is on the final lap. Bunyan's still looking to get some overtakes done. Can he get this done on the Hamilton Straight? Tom Bryan on the final lap. Pixley and Leon Seeley at second and third still, but it is Mark Bunyan applying the pressure along the Hamilton Straight as he's got it almost side by side. Is he going to go for a cutback? Is he going to be in position to get it done on the brakes on the way into Village? He's certainly looking that way. Not the McLaren's on the inside line, but again on the brakes, of course, round outside. He's going to have the apex on the exit onto the Wellington Straight. Has he got this one done? And it looks like he has threaded his way through. Right at the end of the penultimate lap, so he will start the final lap in 9th position. Great battle between these two. But it is now Bunyan who's got that position, although certainly not being given up. Oh, and the leaders finished the race. He was further in the lap, so there we go. Tom Bryant crosses the line. And I'm going to get a rap on the knuckles for missing him crossing the line, but Richard Pixley for Wild Things Racing takes second place then, and it's going to be on as a 10-second penalty for Waizi for causing a collision. So Bunyan did get the move done right at the end there. There are a couple of laps down, but he did get the move done, and a penalty for Waizi confirms that Bunyan did get 10th there. So they've crossed the line and been given the checkered flag. We've still got second and third to be given the checkered flag, but it is Kaczynski for the GT4s. He did give us a 1-2 for Simulation Esports with Camille Panis' sister car coming home in second. It's going to be Christoph Verstappen. Matthias Sanimpado for Team Blacksnow. They've had a phenomenal drive to make their way back through the field. They're going to finish in 4th place. But yeah, back up there we go. We'll have got the GT3s cross the line. Pixley and Seeley second and third. Katrina in the chat. Let's go 404. Well done, boys. Indeed, great drive. Simulation 1-2. Says Mefjus Racing. Indeed, it was Pixley, Wild Things, and Leon Seeley for SOP there. Ted Edwards for Race Ventura. Alrighty then, inside the top 5. Thomas Morant in 5th place, so great comeback from them. Rosenthal in 6th, Osterscharf in 7th, Harman in 8th. I'm not sure, I think a couple of drivers have left, but in the GT4s, it was, where are the GT4s? Chris Severt did tumble down the order and finish behind Terence Keening in 5th and 6th. Seren Pa did get 4th, as I mentioned. The podium was Verstappen, Panis and Kaczynski. From start to finish there, Simon, absolute phenomenal stuff from all the drivers, and yeah, absolutely love to see it.
yeah, it really was a fantastic race from the word go. Action right through the field. There was nothing to separate the top 6 in qualifying. It was literally 1/10 separating the top 6 teams. It didn't pan out that way in the race, however, as Larenc was able to get a fantastic break after around 15-20 minutes, and especially after the first round of pit stops. He did have a success penalty to serve in a pit stop, but he gained time on the rest of the field somehow. And then there was just no looking back. That 10-second gap that he gained in the pit stop turned into 40 seconds by the time Tom Bryant took over. And Bryant was able to look after that lead until the checkered flag. It was a fantastic race by Pixley and Langford for Wild Things Racing to take second place. They carved their way right through the field because Seeley and Morant had success penalties to serve as well. So Pixley got the jump on both of those teams. And then Edwards and Daly in the 115 McLaren and Shalukin and Rosenthal in the 47 McLaren had fantastic races to climb up into the top 6. As we saw some changes right at the end there with Ostrozak falling down the field. Vivid Global Racing seemed to have a good race, just missing out on 2 cars inside the top 10. And Lutz unfortunately had a bit of a bad race as well, missing out on a podium in the 21 machine. But yeah, it was fantastic right up and down the field in the GT3s. What can we say about the GT4s? Simulation Esports completely dominated that race. Top 2 in the GT4 class for Kaczynski, Kazalia, Panis and Poe. The number 4 and 69 machine. Look at that, 70 seconds ahead of the rest of the field after 3 hours of racing. Verstappen did take 3rd with 7 part in 4th, and Keenan recovered to 5th place. Savert and Danny Basin could only manage 6th place after starting last, but they did also have a success penalty to serve. And yeah, the session should be started, so I've lost all the results.
I did wonder if you were going to make it quick enough, but not quite, not quite. Give me control back of that again, and I didn't get a screenshot of it, and now everything's gone.
I do just want to say thank you to everybody who was streaming this race and helped us by covering the server name and passwords. Hopefully the measures that we took today, others will take to protect themselves from DDoS. Yeah, we managed to get through the entire race with no attacks. Maybe they're not on the prowl on a Sunday evening. Or maybe they just wanted to attack a whole host of communities on a Saturday night instead.
Yeah, the kind of
apparently there's, so obviously when the attacks happened last year, Kunos came out with a safety measure that basically stopped these DDoS attacks making their way into the servers. But I guess this weekend they found a way to break through those measures that were put in place, and a whole host of communities got attacked Saturday. We just took the measures that we usually do when this stuff happens, and we were fine today. And hopefully more communities can do the same to prevent their races being stopped prematurely.
yeah, fingers crossed. And if it just, you know what? The less publicity, it's one of those things where you'd like to scold the people that do it, but you feel like the more time you talk about it, the more it encourages the silly people. Delusional Cad, thank you for the follow. We've got Seffi Kins, let's go, well done. She says Ted Edwards, 11th to 4th, let's go. Oh, and by the way, can I just thank you from the bottom of my heart for having a team called Race Ventura, so I can go, alrighty then, every now and again. Thank you very much. And greatest line from the Ace Ventura film: if I'm not back in 5 minutes, just wait longer. Can't beat it. So thank you very much, and congratulations on the 11th to the 4th. Ted appreciates that, love to see it. We've got some highlights running on the screen at the moment. Maybe some stewards' inquiries towards the end. But the final results will be up on SimGrid as soon as possible, of course. The action doesn't stop though. No, no, no. Tomorrow night I will be back. And so will Simon. But he'll be on track. That's right. It'll be the Race Room WTCRs round number 3.
Yep, 3, yep.
And then on
Interlagos.
Interlagos. And then on Tuesday night it will be Double O Raven night, as I take part in the F4 Championships. You can sign up to both of those at Sim Racing GP. That's Race Room. WTCRs on a Monday and F4s on a Tuesday night. We'll be back on Wednesday night with another monstrous grid. What is it we've got on a Wednesday again, Simon?
Wednesday is the sprint series at Mount Panorama. We're better to have a sprint race, let alone an endurance race. I thought I'd make round 2 Mount Panorama just to coincide with the 12 hours of Bathurst that happened on this weekend. So,
indeed, what better place to have a sprint race with 40 cars? Love it. Yeah, an homage to the race. And of course, we will be back with another round of this competition. It will be from...
not next week.
Not next week, sorry. Yeah, it will be the week after. That's right, so not next Sunday. The Sunday after, we will be back for round number 3 of this little championship. And that will be a 2-hour race from Donington Park. So make sure you get yourselves tuned in for that. Thank you to everyone that gave us a follow this evening. Delusional Khan, M1 Rose, Dino Man, Moer Man, MSL, Comma, some great names tonight, with a follow as well. Lyndon Gray, cheering on someone in the chat as well. We've just had another follow. Dags, you like Dags? Dags92, thank you for the follow as well. We don't get the scored. Curtis gave us a follow, so did Siri, so did Olize as well, so thank you all very much. And another one, Charlie Marine. Oh, he was speaking in the chat as well. I saw Charlie in the chat, I'm sure. Oh, yeah, you Go did. Tom Go. I did indeed, with Go Tom Go. So yeah, so thank you to everyone who got involved. We will do a raid as always. Who is on ECC? Lindsay is on. Yeah, let's go and jump over and see El Link Savannah. He's doing some
that's
racing.
perfect. Let's get on in.
Let's jump on over, yeah. Simon, I can go and catch our breaths and grab something because that was an absolute cracker. So
yeah, exactly.
With the rain. Oh my goodness, it's better again. 2 seconds.
Well, thank you everybody for tuning in today. It's a bit of a, I guess this is our longest broadcast of the year so far, isn't it? Into 2023, the 3 hours of Silverstone. Almost touching 4 hours with qualifying. I hope you've enjoyed the race as much as we've enjoyed the commentating. It's been an absolutely fantastic round number 2 here at the British GT Championships. Like John said, it's 2 weeks until we're back at round 3. But in the meantime, we've got plenty of sprint racing action from Race Room, WTCRs, F4s, and our ACC Sprint Series, which is sponsored by SimStaff. So we look forward to seeing you in all of our future broadcasts. And we'll let John get the raid underway, is it?
Indeed, yep, the raid is up and running again. As Simon said, thank you. Especially to everybody. Thank you to everybody for the follows. Thank you to everybody for the chat and for the racers, making it as exciting as it was. Can't wait to go back and watch the VOD of this one. On mute, obviously, because I don't like my own voice. But yeah, we'll be back tomorrow night with the WTCR's reverse order grid for race number 2. Yep, see, if you weren't sold already, you were now. We're going to go jump over to Linksay. So until tomorrow night, enjoy what Linksay has on offer. Stay safe, take it easy, and we'll see you all tomorrow. Have a great night. Good night.
Is the broadcast over?
Yes, it is.
Are you sure?
Yes, I am.
Why is my broadcast? My Twitch is stuck. No, it hasn't worked, I don't think. Our stream's still running. I think everybody can still hear us.
Oh yeah, they can still hear us. It says we've rated though. What?